Yeah, and I like a lot of these triple strategist setups playing around the Adam Warlock. I think Krakoa, pretty solid map for Adam Warlock from like a damage perspective. But not only that, also, getting some of these mass reses, getting some big comeback team fights could be valuable. Renko sticking with the Loki despite the nerf, so it's going to be those double invisible woman boundaries able to fight, especially on this map on the point. I feel like that can also be strong. Terra's just absolutely fearless, charging straight in, trying to clear some of these Loki clones, but has to back off and not much to show for that push.
Yeah, not much to show except for the new Star-Lord skin that came out or is coming out with Season 4 literally tomorrow. So we get a little bit of a sneak peek onto it. And off the rip, I mean, like you said, Jake, kind of even on both sides. And it's interesting that we out in the UI get to see ult charge too.
Yeah, it's definitely going to allow you to keep a little bit closer track of the chaos. Avery, though, has already found that first kill, and on to Delena, no less. Avery follows up with 2 more off the back of it. So 3 kills for the Sentinels. They're wiping the floor with 100 Thief.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Torch guy is still pretty damn good. Just because, like, this character got nerfs, still is broken. And, well, not in this patch, obviously, in Season 4, but in the previous one, it's still crazy as hell. Like, this guy is one of the strongest characters in the game, and you can see exactly why in the neutral. Just not only does he have huge damage output, but also he can get the final hits, right? It's like a matter of a lot of characters have trade-offs, right, Jake? Like sometimes you'll see a biggest stat that, a lot of pros look at is damage per 10 or final hits per 10 minutes. In that case, usually most heroes have high final hits per 10, but not a lot of good damage. Torch kind of has both, as ultimates are now being built for both squads.
Yeah, this ulti fight is going to be crucial, but Sentinels in control is definitely a great opener to find. Legendary is popped on Terra and able to find a quick burst there onto Nectar. That's a big pick off into the Invisible Woman ult. They're not able to follow up with more, but already the trade's looking good here for 100 Thieves. Sentinels trying to stall it out, but they lost another strategist. Maybe this point ult is just falling apart as quickly as it came together.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jake. I mean, just damage boost onto Terra into that ultimate in the sky. The Galactic Legend just cleaned the floor with that Torch or with one of the players on Sentinel's side. And I think it was just all she wrote after that, Jake. It just was tough to win after that fight with the Mantis change, right? There's so much damage coming out on Terra and on Delena, like you pointed out with Adam Warlock. So right now, 100 Thieves got themselves back into the point cap and are setting themselves up for success as they can stall out the fight with Captain America, maybe build time for Harvey and Nuck to build their Shadow ults alongside Delena, who has that res, which res now gives bonus health too.
Yeah, Delena's definitely going to be the target this fight. You really need to take down this Adam Warlock. You do not want to let him get a very impactful mass res off. Sentinels, though, they're going to be on the back foot, trying to come back in for the retake.
He's hiding right now.
Yeah, I think smart too, right? Like, you can kind of gamble, let your team die. As long as you get a value res off, you're going to be having impact in this team fight. Phoenix starting to put some point pressure on, but already Techie goes down. A little bit of miscommunication there. Lack of coordination from the Sentinels, losing a Vanguard first. Crimzo, though, strikes right back, and that's onto Delena, so an impact kill.
Yeah, that's huge to find Delena, but he has that self-res. Here comes the Phoenix ult, but guess who's about to be brought back by his cocoon? It's Delena. Are they going to track him down, though? That's the thing, Jake. He's back, and he's met by the Phoenix. Oh, it gets canceled. No.
Yeah, great awareness there. Crimzo just hunting down that Adam Warlock, and you're losing the ultimate especially. So this point has been incredibly back and forth. Like, both times, defenders have lost control of the point, which you don't often see in these heavy ult fights, right? Typically, we see the defenders hold on, stall fights for incredibly long. So both of these teams finding the playmaking, but still a little bit rocky. Maybe the new rosters still with a bit of an adjustment time.
Yeah, Sentinels 20% to finishing it out, and like you called out, Jake, I mean, Delena's being hunted down on that side from Crimzo is huge, and that's going to be kind of the biggest thing for Adam Warlock is how many times can you hunt them down. Nuck starts off this fight with a sleep, slows down that cap at least so they can push in.
Yeah, and they're just going to leave him alone now. A lot of pressure being put down. Terra with the Galactic Legend over the top, getting those amps from Mantis, but Invisible Woman boundary comes out very delayed from Aramori. Nice hold on that ultimate. Comes out so late. 100 Thieves look pretty overextended now, and the clapback is huge. Avery with 2 over the top, hunting for more with these flaming tornadoes on the point, and that should be the round here. 100 Thieves cleaned off the point. TTK desperation, but no chance to touch, and Sentinels locked that one down.
Yeah, I think this is the unfortunate aspect of Adam Warlock is if you're against a team that can play well around it, it doesn't really get as much value, unfortunately. Like you called out with Delena getting rezzed, brought back for the ult. And that next fight, he didn't have the passive too. Like we only saw that passive come out once for Delena in that entire round where he was able to self-res. And I guess, Jake, it kind of goes back to sort of old ideology, which is ban Human Torch, protect Human Torch, and it just works out.
Yeah, I mean, and I also think the Phoenix plus Torch mismatch is so strong, right? Adam Warlock, yeah, he does some damage, but like the stats are brutal, right? Like he's not keeping up at all with something like a Phoenix. And if you're not really getting big value team fights out of the mass res, you know, the saves aren't really working out. It kind of begs the question of why are you running this Adam Warlock? Like, what's the theory there? And Delana, I think this is probably just a speed boost Jeff, right? Like, I think assuming they're going to change nothing else, maybe he just comes out on the Adam Warlock again. Maybe it'll work better this map. Maybe there's better opportunity to protect him from these deadly flankers.
Yeah, it might be the comp is too slow. Portal plays come out though off the rip, and oh my goodness, what a shot
Perfect
from our
mirror.
observing team. That was awesome.
Yeah, great opening of the fight. Total mirror there. 100 Thieves able to strike first. Harvey finds that burst onto the opposing Phoenix. Capult comes out from Crimzo. They're trying to fight through this. Techie getting a little bit low and getting that trade also out of 100 Thieves. So Sentinels won't give this one up easy. Renko goes for a copy. See if he wants to double down with another ult of his own. And it seems like they're willing to continue this fight. Both teams dumping heavy ultimates, but I think Sentinels are going to have the last lap here. Big Phoenix ult over the top into the strange connection. Great combo from the Sentinels. Opens up this point with the cap.
Yeah, that might be a callback to what you said earlier where like 100 Thieves, I mean, that was like a perfect fight for them almost, right? Like 100 Thieves come out the portal, they have the soul bond, they find the pick, and then they still lose. So, I don't know. Yeah, something's just not working here. Harvey's going over the Cloak and Dagger, Nux over to Jeff. So they're trying to, oh no, he's not actually. Just a real quick speed boost out of spawn. But regardless, that was a perfect fight for 100 Thieves in terms of what they kind of wanted, and it still didn't pan out. Sentinels also now building up towards that Supernova. They're building up Straddles too. Right now, 100 Thieves have to kind of up the pace, but it's hard to with Adam Warlock.
Yeah, and Terra just has so much heavy lifting to do. He's getting right into the backline to try and put that damage down, but the boundary comes out from Aramori, stabilizes for now. Sentinels happy to just fight within that. Force 100 Thieves completely off the point. Galactic Legend from Terra needs to find value here. This is a crucial moment for him, and he seems to have caught the torch. It's a big kill, but it's traded right back by Crimzo, so this one won't be an easy flip for 100 Thieves. They still need to scrap it out in the deathmatch. No ultimates on the field, though, so it is all down to that individual mechanics right now. And this is where the Star-Lord can sort of shine, right? Playing that versatility and mobility. Seems like the point pressure leading towards the Thieves.
Able to cap it back as well. Delana has the res. That's like one of their only ults besides Harvey here, so I'm curious how they do want to use this res. It actually, I wouldn't be opposed to maybe using it amidst this Eternal Bond from Harvey, but they already lose one. Oh no.
One down. I mean, they have the mass res online if you want to give it, but you don't want to give this point flip back to the Sentinels, and they've got potentially a devastating combo here. Strange into Phoenix ult. It's worked for them in the past. Nectar has been really solid finding these big connections on the Phoenix ult, making it more than just a survivability tool, right? Turning it into those kills. Now the Freedom Rush from Crimzo's cap really starting to overwhelm, forces that Mantis out ult out in response, and you're looking for the Strange ult. The big Phoenix connection coming over the top, but it doesn't seem like it gets any kills, and so 100 Thieves still very much in this.
Yeah, great disengage. Zelena with the res just to hold on. Actually, nobody even going down, waiting to get the eliminations until after the res is out. They only get Zelena back. Actually, no, everybody is back. But they give up the point, though, Jake, on the flip. And Sentinels now sitting on that objective. Also, they can just live with the new changes to Invisible Woman. Like you said, nobody dies through the ults now. Now we go up to from 165 healing per second to 180. So way harder to get the kills in the Invisible Boundary.
Yeah, and Techie proving to be a real problem, getting a lot of big Strange ults. Now 100 Thieves have their own slate of ultimates to fight back with, though, so they probably have the advantage on this retake. That being said, every second you stall is a second Sentinels are charging off a lot of ultimates. Galactic Legend out from Terra, getting a ton of support from the teammates, and Sentinels just falling back, trying to stay alive without yielding this point control. The response comes in with Renko, the copied Invisible Boundary onto the point, allowing Sentinels to fight strong through these 100 Thieves ultimates. Avery dropping these Flame Tornadoes in the choke points. 100 Thieves, though, coming up close to a few important strategist ults of their own. You need to get them off and force to use that Cloak and Dagger to come out on the retake.
A lot of cooldowns used, though. They use the Soul Bond plus that Eternal Bond. Can they at least find the elimination, like you said? Unfortunately, not yet. I mean, the disengage is perfect for Sentinels, and they still have point control. The
strategist play from Renko and Aramori is so clean right now, keeping people alive, but in the end, it's just overwhelming from the Thieves. Too much pressure onto the point. Eye of Agamotto from TTK should seal the deal, and they are able to get this flip back, but Sentinels fighting so well in that engagement, it's built them up towards a very healthy ultimate advantage, and I feel that Delana, once again, is going to be in the sights for the Sentinels. They've kept great track of this Adam Warlock ult. They made it very difficult for him to get value.
The biggest benefit for 100 Thieves so far is running that Cloak and Dagger now, at least. They do have Terra Cape to maybe give some more lethality towards their composition. You know, at least with Harvey on the Cloak, can throw that out, find eliminations amidst these team fights, but here there's going to be a big one as well. Where's Delana going to be able to hide? Can he live long enough? Nuck already goes down, so does Harvey.
They're going for the mass res here. potentially a lot of value. Crimzo was trying to hunt him down, but Delana still gets that impact, finds 3, but the kills are still coming in. Sentinels are just overwhelmingly powerful on point. The Strange ult is big, gets enough of a connection to burst down Nuck a second time, and Invisible Boundary should be slamming the door on this round. Thieves, 4 players online. Terror just can't find a single target with the Galactic Legend, and Avery hunts him down for the cleanup. Overtime is burning down. Delana respawns himself, but there's just no chance for 100 Thieves. The Strange portal, maybe a desperation touch, could delay this round a little bit longer. But you've got to play this one perfectly. There's no margin for error coming out onto this point, fully stacked with Sentinels players.
Actually hilarious as well after the nerfs to Loki. The fact that he's still able to get eliminations. Terra does find one, but like you said, overtime ticks down. They have to prioritize this point, and this boundary on top of it is going to end things for 100 Thieves. I almost want to change my color scheme to yellow because of how red this map gets, dude. Like, you can't even see the outlines when everybody's red. Angela, no way. Are we going to see Angela?
All right, I don't know what this character does, so I'm locked in. Let's see.
It's like Wolverine. It's basically Wolverine, but flies. Okay, less damage though.
Okay.
So that's all you kind of got to know. You know what?
Grab and pull somebody's in, but I love this. The Moon Knight Groot combo is really punishing on some of these heavier tank setups. Crimzo pulls the Groot so deep. Hold on, wait, this character is crazy. But TTK right behind gets that counter kill onto Techie. But the Resident Armory is on the rocket here. Crimzo's just making space here on the Angela. I'm not sure this is optimal, but it's pretty stylish.
And he's dead. And there he goes. Rest in peace, Crimzo. He was just a moth in the air, you know. He's just like kind of there to be annoying. That's kind of what the character does though at the moment. You know, by the way, Terra, this is Moon Knight, by the way. You thinking this is a character from another game that's robotic? No, this is Moon Knight's new skin in season 4. Looks absolutely crazy. He looks like a Vanguard, doesn't he?
I'm still a fan of the Moon Knight Groot combo. I think this combo is potentially underused. It's such a sick team wiping tool. It allows you to kill through strategist ultimates, like one of the few ways I feel like you can pretty consistently get that off. And it looks like Nectar is going to go over to the Wolverine though, so taking that challenge. Is he going to be able to deal with Delana? Storm already has found them with the kidnap, and Techie gets the kill, so Storm off the field. But here's the combo coming in. Moon Knight dropping ulti on point.
Yeah, Vinny got kicked off the map, by the way. Techie also back in the game after that res beacon, so that was a cool kick off the map from Techie. And, you know, at the moment, 100 Thieves just kind of struggling to find anything in terms of eliminations.
Yeah, Techie's been really nice here on this Emma Frost. And Vinny is going to step back here, go over to the Thing, maybe try to lock down some of this mobility. We've seen Thing a lot come out as a sort of a semi-counter to the Wolverine, right? Breaking his mobility at a crucial moment, allowing you to catch and focus him down. But Sentinels holding this corner strong. Crimzo, tip of the spear right now. Storm gonna open with the ultimate, starting to put some of the pressure on. Crimzo trying to fall back slowly here, but big ultimates are available here for the Sentinels. Second life forced out of Wolverine. Storm just forces that invisible boundary trade. And it looks like both teams gonna dump ultimates. 100 Thieves gonna push into the boundary here.
Yeah,
Crimzo still has an ultimate.
Still does off the map, but no, Terra flies back. Gets grabbed anyway. Oh my goodness, Techie. Wombo comboing Terra. Now even in the fight, Avery also, like you said, has that res. Avagomoto's met, oh no, by a dance floor. Can't find the elimination unless you block off the heals, but good shielding by the team to keep him alive.
Yeah, and Adam Warlock, self-res back into the fight. Now Nectar looking for an opportunity to grab a player, and I mean, 100 Thieves have to really respect this Wolverine, right? It's really slowing down their push, but they hear the Moon Knight ult. Crimzo forced to kite back into it. That is not a viable place to stand. Armori's beacon gets one res off. Avery pops the mass res, so Sentinels don't want to give any ground. They want to just continue this fight, doubling down in the current position. But they're out of ultimates. Renko needs to finish charging that invisible boundary. Almost online, could be crucial in this fight, but Vinny could find that initiation with the Thing.
Still waits back, ready to go with it. There's that ultimate. It actually does catch out the Doctor Strange, who tried to jump block it. But again, Techie in the neutral fights has been so big. Another kick off the map, Jake. These environmentals from the Vanguard line of Sentinels have just gotten so much value.
Yeah, the front line, you talked about this, right? The core of this team staying together for a long time. Techie has always really impressed me on the Vanguard. Really intelligent player, right? Always finds some of this cheeky value that you're always hoping your Vanguard can get, but I feel like he's so consistent with it on Techie. Now, a different approach from 100 Thieves, trying to attack through the high ground. Terra going back to the old standby here of the Bucky. Maybe could put some counter pressure on this Emma Frost, maybe put some of that challenge to her mobility displacement. Delana coming into the back line, trying to find somewhere to connect it with the Storm. Oh, this doesn't look the best. I guess this is going to hit on one, but Wolverine's just coming into fight, stepping up to the plate against that Storm. And Aramori has that Sia. Dropping that big damage amp could be pretty rough here. 100 Thieves kind of trying to ult in.
I mean, right now, Sentinels are playing so annoying. Right now, they come back in Eye of Agamotto mid-fight, and they're just not going down, Jake. They're playing the cover perfectly. However, now Terra decides to close it out on his classic Bucky with a Kraken Impact, opens it up onto Avery.
Can he find the second execution? Needs to keep this ultimate snowballing. Seems like Nectar fell back to the strategist, and as you said, Sentinels, they're bending, but they're not breaking. They're playing so effectively around this evasive movement. Terra gets a chance, but can't quite get the connections. Needed some headshots there. Nuck, though, does have that dance floor advantage, and a big catch here onto the Adam Warlock in the flank. Avery pops the soul bond, saves himself. The strategist ultimates come back, and his team is so hard to bring down. You just can't quite break them, but Renko does drop even inside of his own boundary.
I mean, where did Avery even go? He went high ground, right? Now he's hiding with the res, brings him back anyway. So everybody who just went down, they're being brought back.
Huge res from Avery, showing how it's done on the Adam Warlock. 100 Thieves running low on the gas now, and this is the opportunity for the Sentinels to strike back. Crimzo has that ultimate online, would love to find a big ultimate, big connection from Dr. Strange. Crimzo charging into the backline, but Storm has already struck first. Renko is out of the fight. Aramori drops the Sia, trying to put what heal she can. Crimzo, decent connection with the ultimate, but isn't enough. Where's the follow-up damage? Crimzo finds one. Maybe need more than this, though. In the backline, 100 Thieves starting to get a bit of an edge, especially with TTK ripping the ultimate for Emma Frost, and it seems like 100 Thieves barely starting to get this one over the line. Still spawners coming back for Sentinels, but I think it's too little too late, Dustin, and it's just desperation touches, stalling that OT out. By the skin of their teeth, 100 Thieves cap first point.
Yeah, I mean, first point, we do know it as one of the hardest to cap out, especially versus triple strategist comps or triple Vanguard comps, however you want to, whatever comp you kind of want to run there. Sentinels, unfortunately, we saw, by the way, the very beginning of the point, we did get to see Angela feed. That was unfortunate for a lot of fans, I'm sure, of that character. You know, maybe in this case, Emma.
Not the best debut.
Not the best debut, and that's why, Avast earlier said that, hopefully we get a new, sort of Dommy Mommy type character. It's still Emma Frost, okay? That is not going to change for a while, I think.
She's taken over, and she's not accepting any challengers. The position is filled. There will be no new applicants at this time. Terra, gets some connection on the Phoenix. Swap ups from the Sentinels now. Supernova from Avery. Gonna drop those tornadoes into the backline. Harvey immediately rips that copy. Just tries to stabilize for the moment. Holding onto the dance floor, though, so there's gonna be an opportunity here for the repush for 100 Thieves. A little bit less time now on that clone. You gotta pop the ultimate to keep it rolling. Here it comes.
Just slowing down that Sonic Seduction. I think that's a trade you're willing to take, though, if you're Sentinels, considering Sonic Seduction for Luna Snow, Dance Floor, Fate of the Worlds is actually a solid trade. Nuck now commits his own, but Delena's already fallen. Has to use that cocoon to come back into the fight.
Yeah, is going to be able to do that. Is going to be able to double down. Terra waiting for the opportunity. This may be it. You're low on strategist ultimates. Bucky loves to clean up in these fights, loves to snowball into them, but does he find the opportunity? Crimzo drops even without the Bucky ult, so maybe Terra's gonna be able to hold on to this one to try and snowball, try to keep it going. Phoenix ult into the backline, does find a big burst onto Harvey. He won't be able to have him back into the fight unless Delana can charge up that ultimate. He's pretty close, actually, on the mass res. That could allow 100 Thieves to continue fighting, but Sentinels, the re-aggression is crippling here. Even low on the ultimates, just the Cloak and Dagger is just too much for the Thieves. They're falling back for the moment. Sentinels seem to have stabilized. Even when picks go against them, man, this team is so resilient.
Yeah, but honestly, 100 Thieves didn't play it that bad, right? They Meteor M sort of as a Predator's ultimate to let their team fall back. But here's the Supernova, and now it's actually panning out like you said, Jake, where everybody's now back from spawns on Sentinel's side. They were able to live long enough for, in this case, Nectar to come back. 25 seconds left to go, and you called it, Jake. They're just being such a nuisance on defense.
Nice hook from Terra. Almost gets the kill on Avery, but the save is too quick here from Renko. And I mean, Human Torch is just eating them alive here from the high ground. They don't really have anyone to pressure up there. Clock running low. Terra rips the ultimate, knows he has to somehow find a way to clutch this one out. Could he find one more reset? That would be huge in this spot, but he's already so low and just can't quite get the next connection. Avery immediately turns it around on him, and the Thieves gonna have to settle with that 1 point and change here on Araco.
Wait, what? I wonder why Delena didn't switch Dr. Strange in Portal. It was Vinny, the one to Portal, who died after Delena did. Delena was the most recent one to respawn. Didn't have ult. Could have gone for that Portal play to retouch. But man, it does seem like what you said. And you would think a team like Sentinels would have had to adjust more with the new pickup of Avery, with the new pickup of Renko. But the pace that they've been putting on 100 Thieves has been insane. And 100 Thieves, like even stats-wise, you would assume, okay, this team only had one death on Nuck, for example. You'd be like, oh, this team should have won. No, I mean, there were times when they just ran into walls trying to fall back. I don't know, man. Your stats don't tell the full story, and this is exactly why, as Sentinels with that triple Vanguard or triple strategist comp at first, racking up the deaths, but playing objective to such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, Techie, such a beast there on the Emma Frost. So many of those kicks off the map on that opening section. It felt like 100 Thieves didn't even get proper fights going until the clock was already down towards that minute mark. Avery looks like he's been playing with his team for years, right? Completely slotted in. The coordination with Renko is amazing. Tons of saves from the Invisible Woman. It's great seeing him on the Human Torch, a role where he can really take over, right, and get a ton of resources. I feel like that's a high pressure role for a duelist, to be the one who's going to get, you're going to get a ton of heals, you're going to get a ton of resource damage and enabling skills from the squad, and you have to deliver. But he's been doing that. And at the same time, he can bring out the Adam Warlock and bring out some really solid team play, like great awareness and depth for that player coming in and having a great showing here on the Sentinels.
Yeah, I like that you bring him up too, Jake. I mean, he was the follow-up to the other duelist in Tap on Techie XD on that unsigned roster. Both Tap and him are prospects that everybody talks about, but I think people don't talk about Avery enough, and you call it out. I mean, that guy looking good on this roster at the current moment. And Sentinels started out on their attack with a pretty aggressive play on the 100 Thieves, just shoving them back into their own spawn or into their own side of the map that they played onto this Hulk Namor comp. It's not really enabling 100 Thieves to hold space as they build ults.
Sentinels look strong. Already the pickoff, though. Flank kill is able to shut down from Delana on Avery. He is going to res himself back up into the fight, but this flank pressure from the Namor is pretty crippling for the moment. Terra does fall. Techie with another, man. Techie is just a beast.
Dude, you see both their vanguards in the pits, or two vanguards in the pit of hell. Delana, though, I mean, at least he's able to equalize it. You talk about him on the Namor. I mean, this is one of Delana's best heroes, and you're seeing why. I mean, he sort of started out, was the creator of this flank Namor playstyle. They call it the Delana. In this case, goes down, caster curse.
What a caster. That was a brutal one, Dustin. But I mean, 100 Thieves, I feel like they didn't have the players to double that into that. This boundary, though, is a little over-aggressive from the Sentinels. They need to convert this into kills. I guess trading, forcing the Cloak and Dagger ult is going to have to be enough for now. And Terra also rips the ultimate. Big Groot. Is there enough of a connection? Are they able to get follow-up kills? For now, it just forces the Psionic Seduction, and they're still getting value here out of this Cloak and Dagger ult from Aramori. Avery has mass res online, so without Techie, they're still going to be able to get him back into the fight if they want to. And they're going to double down. This is classic Sentinels, refusing to back off the fight, refusing to give up. Crimzo charging forward fearlessly, forces the dance floor out of knock. Tons of ultimates being deployed by the Sentinels, but so far they haven't been able to find kills, and they're trying to regroup just a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to pick their target to dive on. In this case, it was Terra in that Phoenix Endsong Inferno, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they were not able to find the value early enough, and right now, 100 Thieves, their comp with the Namor looking a lot better. TTK as well, looking phenomenal pull from Terra, and this is the value in playing Bucky, is those mid-fights, those neutrals can get turned on their head, Jake, with those pulls. Also with Delana on the Namor, I think they're actually looking so much improved, so much better than in the previous map, and also earlier on their attack. But there's still a minute and 40 seconds left, and it took till overtime for 100 Thieves to cap out on their offense. So we already know how hard Araco first point is to take for the attacking team. Crimzo now goes over to Angela yet again, Jake.
Obviously, this is the pick. This is the answer. We'll see what Angela's able to do here. Maybe could find somebody, pull them out of position. Could be a strong tool, right, in breaking a stalemate. You don't really have powerful ultimates to bring out here. Angela not able to find a connection immediately. Psionic Seduction force, Namor Whale as well, looking to get more, and they're able to drop bodies here. 100 Thieves just absolutely crushed the Sentinels, but I wonder, did they overult a little bit for that, right? 3 ults for nothing. I feel like the Sentinels are going to be pretty all right, taking a quick team wipe and just coming back up to the plate. We know how hard first point is to cap at all.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of pressure onto Vinny, a lot of pressure onto 100 Thieves that's sustained with Nuck and Harvey, but at least they do have Stratus ults. Right, we talk about in this game how strong they are. Also, I don't think anybody's really comboed that well alongside Nectar and his Endsong Inferno. That's the benefit of that ultimate, is comboing with others, right? Maybe Crimson can go in with his, right? Kind of create a little bit of space for that Endsong Inferno, but we'll see as we're entering basically last fight territory with 30 seconds left.
Crimzo, let's see what he can do with the new Vanguard. See if this ultimate's able to have a significant impact here. A spear into the backline. What does it do? Not a whole lot, so it would seem. Terra hooks him in, absolutely punishes Crimzo. Now Sentinels fighting 5v6. Have to clutch this one out. Time is running low. They're taking a ton of damage, and Renko gets bursted down with the invisible boundary. Didn't get it off in that fight. Endsong Inferno does come down from Nectar, but it's just not enough. The dance floor unfazed by that tool. And the Sentinels, Crimzo onto a quick TP, trying to keep that overtime rolling, but yep, this is so awkward. This doesn't look effective, especially forcing the boundary onto point. There's just no way, right? The Thieves players are way too strong in this spot, and a Whale is going to close this one out.
What an
Thieves equalizing there, 1-1. Renko.
Spider-Man type of heroes, I guess.
And I mean, it's a classic setup here for the Sentinels, right? With that double dance floor. Has been nerfed pretty significantly, right? Both of these heroes catching some pretty decent nerfs. We'll see what Avery can do now on the Namor this time. Both teams running that whole combo. So this battle of the Namor should likely favor the defender, especially, man, that Gamma Monstro is so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And I like you brought up the new patch, Jake. I mean, we are on Season 4. So if you have any friends kind of just like lurking around, not doing anything, tell them to hop in right now. This is the first time we're seeing professional play on the brand new patch coming out tomorrow.
Oh, big flank. I love that monster spawn's deployed. Looks like the strategist tools are enough to keep them alive, and Nectar does cut down to Lena in the flank. So the flank fight won by the Psylocke this time. Normally Namor, I think, is kind of a problem there. Now, Nectar wasting no time, continuing to snowball this advantage in. Sentinels want to get the big cleanup. At the same time, you're far from your own spawn as defense here, so you got to be a little bit careful, right? You just don't want to overextend it, and I think Sentinels are playing that line nicely.
Yeah, maybe I've overestimated the death of Psylocke. I mean, the character did get a bit of a change in terms of damage output, but it still has that mobility, still has the survivability with the shields given. And right now, Sentinels sitting on defense with a minute 20 off the clock, starting off Sonic Seduction with the 100 Thieves.
Yeah, both teams ripping their Sonic Seduction, so for the most part, neither team wants to really double down, force much of a commitment here. But as the defense, you're kind of happy to take those ult trades. Sentinels kind of daring 100 Thieves to walk forward. See what Terra can get done here with this Bucky ultimate. But still, Devil Strategist ultimate is available. Taking the reset on the Loki clone. And that does able to get the elimination, though, onto Avery. So the execute comes through, but no, it's Nectar somehow finding both strategists in the enemy backline. What happened? 100 Thieves crumbling. Maybe some miscommunication. Both team players thinking the other would ult first. And instead, they're both dead.
Yeah, that's a bit greedy for sure. And right now, I mean, yeah, Sentinels, they have, an incredible Psylocke player in Nectar who's been able to flex to so many different things, play the Psylocke to a high level for them. And even in the current patch with the nerfs to Psylocke, looks to be just as good as ever. And like you said, maybe a bit too greedy on 100 Thieves' side. That could have been the reason for that in the last fight. Vinny tries to create some space, force out strat ults early.
Yeah, he's diving into the backline, pulling a ton of attention onto himself. Sentinels have to balance the threat, dealing with the Hulk and the Exiles, man. This Hulk is just being staggered out, not really getting the value here. Dance floor comes out. This is a copy from Renko, so Straz Ultimate's running low. Trades are in. Once again, man, Nectar on the Psylocke finds a crucial pick in the mid-fight. The strategists, though, are finding so many of these big freezes, denying the 100 Thieves aggression, and that's given Nectar time to find yet more kills, cleaning the backline, cleaning house here on Central Park. And 100 Thieves, nothing to show for this offense so far.
No, I mean, that was off of the back of Techie, and also, like you said, the Duelist with the, the Psylocke coming through, diving into Harvey, didn't even get to use a strat ult in that fight, and that was just a huge play to come back on Techie, stall out that Hulk ultimate. It's one of the strongest ults in the game in terms of displacement. We could talk about Angela's displacement, but Hulk in that Hulk ultimate form can just be absolutely disgusting, just booping everybody around.
Hulk thinks wiser for the moment of chasing down Terra. Now with it, Hulk and Dagger ultimate is a problem. Big boat dropped in, but the Exile onto the Hulk denies that potential follow-up damage. Dance floor just barely is enough to save Crimzo, man. He got so low. The focus fire, impressive from the Thieves. Sentinels want to get kills before this dance floor runs out, but the time starting to run low. Hulk trying to get active in the flank is going to take down one, but trades his life away for this, almost certainly yet dying to that reset. But meanwhile, Sentinels have continued to put that pressure on. And now Terra forced into a desperation scenario. He has to maybe rip this ult and just go for the clutch, but a complete whiff. No connection from Terra. Very uncharacteristic mistake there. And Thieves are reduced to a Hulk touch and a strange portal.
Here it is. 5 seconds left to go. Not even a tick on the board. They're going to come to the portal in a second. You drop out the Gamma Squid and every other one. But right now, you're going to swap Terra over to the Wolverine too, trying to buy like a bit of a gimmick pick, but it's not really working out at the current moment as they're surrounded by Sentinels.
Yeah, and I love this from Sentinels. Real patience. They're staying up on that high ground. They're kind of working the fight patiently, waiting for Nectar to find his opportunity. Now he's into the backline with the Hulk. Gets a connection, trying to get that strategist low. The boat comes in as well. Follow-up from Avery is clean, and it's a full hold from the Sentinels, man. A statement victory after a map loss in map 2, man. This one's a beatdown.
Yeah, that was disgusting. I mean, I definitely overstated how maybe Psylocke might be weak. Right now, I mean, the not even playing Loki's. Actually, yeah, no, Sentinels banned out Loki, huh? In that last map, because wait, hold on. So Sentinels bans as well. I mean, that's their side that goes right. Wait, so 100 Thieves had the Loki ban, right? For sure. Or like they can't play Loki because
yeah, Sentinels banned it out at the last ban.
Yeah. And at the current moment, there it is. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Thank you, Observer. Point out my stupidity on the broadcast. And I think Sentinels, though, really, it's constant pressure towards this backline, Jake. I mean, the new backline of 100 Thieves just could not live through these dives from the Hulk, from also, they tried to set up their own dives, but there was just no getting eliminations on the attack.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the issue here, right? That moment when you lose both strategists at the same time, they both have ulti, and it's like, okay, one of us has to pop ulti, right? But it's really bad if you both pop it at the same time. That's a classic coordination mistake, right? It's one of the, I feel like the classic pitfall in the hero shooter genre is always knowing, okay, if we get under pressure, who's going to pop ult first? That's that constant line of communication you need to play this game at the highest level. And it's a place where Renko, for his part, has slotted in really cleanly. We aren't seeing those kind of errors out of the Sentinels. The communication looks good. For Thieves, can't say the same right now. And they're staring down the barrel of being down 2-1 in this series. I mean, maybe they could hit a draw. That's the best they can hope for here, Dustin. But that's such a painful place to be, especially with Sentinels knowing this, right? They can take whatever approach they want. And Techie setting up a strange portal. I'm curious. I wonder if they'll like take the defender's high ground. I feel like that could work pretty well on this map.
Yeah, they could do kind of, they have the pick of the litter in this case. Looking towards those strats, like you said, so it's a high ground of some sort, and it's pushing off those strats. They're just hard diving onto Harvey. Oh my God, no.
Wait, Techie needs some help though. Strange goes down. Okay, Sentinels haven't won this one just yet, but another pick comes in for the Crimzo, and the brawl is still looking good. Sentinels continuing to trade. Nectar onto that Jeff, continuing to hunt down backliners, and 100 Thieves are just completely destabilized by this aggression. Sentinels haven't been able to continue to convert this into more kills, but no, there's Nectar continuing to find that backliner, ends up taking down the King of the Sea. Jeff says, I'm the King of the Sea. And it's a quick cap for the Sentinels, man. The aggressive TP in, instant kill on a strategist. Pretty much the dream scenario here for Sentinels. That's about as fast as you can win a map in Marvel Rival. Thank you, ZP. As we're getting into this on cinematic surface, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on the Thieves to come out swinging, to come out strong after the last map. They've had, a little bit of a break, a little bit of a halftime here, but they need to show us something pretty quick, and it's all going to start with this strange portal from TTK.
And there they go with Delena over to that Wolverine with the Groot, but they will be against Invisible Woman, which we've noted how Invisible Woman does kind of counter Wolverine at times, and we'll see kind of what happens as they do get Magneto on Sentinel's side as well to maybe bubble off potential plays from that Wolverine.
Let's see what Phoenix can get done. Already the Thieves taking a bit of position onto the point. Sentinels willing to fall back for now, but they're still healthy. They're just choosing to give up a little bit of ground to not play the super close range angle. They want to kite Delena, pull him too far forward, right? Make him look for those plays. Wolverine not able to find much, but it's Terra actually who strikes first blood onto Avery. Without the torch, the Sentinels are going to struggle to keep this tank line suppressed, and so Thieves, TTK, and Vinny starting to walk up, starting to get this capture time. First tick already grabbed, maybe more to follow.
Yeah, I wonder why Avery was so aggressive there on that inside angle. I don't know if he got like pulled or hooked or something, or if he just decided to go that aggressive. But yeah, already 2 ticks given, most of the 3rd tick as well. And now you're against the passive of Jean Grey with the Phoenix. Ensong comes out too.
Oh, great catch as well from the Wolverine, followed up immediately. And we talked about the Thieves needing to strike hard and fast, and they've done just that, Dustin. Getting the cart rolling with 5 minutes is a great opener to this offense. And now it's the Sentinels who are reeling, looking for a bit of stability on this map.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see a little bit out of Sentinels, and I guess Aramori in this case pulling away Delena. They also did use that invisible boundary. That should bode well for 100 Thieves moving forward, even though they did have to use their Eternal Bond plus Ensong Inferno. Now Sentinels on the defense have to reclaim space too, considering Delena's always going to be hiding. You have to control this height. You're against Groot as well without a Wolverine. That character can get a lot of damage output. We also know how good 100 Thieves have been previously on Groot compositions. They also have ultimates ready to go.
Mini taking a lot of pressure, though. The walk-up looks pretty good for the Sentinels for now. Meteor M coming forward, taking all of the space, putting a lot of pressure on. Delena super low, doesn't get forced, I think, out of the second life for now. Crimzo falls back for the moment with the copied Cloak and Dagger ultimate. And here, let's see what the Phoenix can get done for the Sentinels now. Over the top, Groot ultimate, big damage being thrown into that, but the heals are good enough. 100 of these players staying alive through this. Now both teams starting to run low on the ultimates, and it's the Sentinels who find the first 2 picks, 2 more as well. Avery, a triple kill in this fight. Wolverine looking to get something, but is only just shut down for his trouble. Sentinels retake control, I think, also at a pivotal moment on this map, right? Where you're able to walk forward on the defense, really attack those attackers as they come out of the spawn.
Yeah, that was one of 100 Thieves' better chances to win, too. I mean, with Strangling Prison, you can kind of come through with that ult. And, usually we see a lot of teams, block off the healing with the Groot walls or shields from, in this case, the Doctor Strange. Didn't happen. Now they have to come back through this huge choke point, dealing with a lot of poke.
The Loki clones are able to get a lot of value here. Doctor Strange ultimate finds some kind of connection, but for now, Loki just stabilizes, and Crimzo just immediately diving back in with the Freedom Rush. Seems like all they're going to get is the ulti trade, stalling the clock, running things down a little bit here. Sentinels wanting to play for these Loki clone positions, right? You don't want to push up too far out of that key angle that's been set up for Renko's success. Crimzo taking a bit of aggro, getting group walled. Ooh, and a little bit of trouble. The saves are so clean from the strategist, though. Just barely getting him out of dodge.
However, Delena, because of they were out of position trying to heal him, goes down both Armory and Nectar.
That's big. Kentucky win this one back. Has already found one kill. Needs a connection with the Meteor M, but it's just stuffed by TTK in his face with the Strange. Terra finding more. The Phoenix starting to profit in these low numbers engagements. There's not enough strategists to keep them up alive on the field. Renko teleports out here on the Loki. Wants to play his way out. Wants to just stay alive for now. And the Sentinels coming back here on the retake. It's a little bit desperate. They don't have much of a map position, but they did find a couple of kills in that fight, which will mean the Thieves aren't going to be at full strength when it comes to stuffing this choke.
Yeah, we swapped Dylan over to Bucky. Also, I like Terra playing a lot of that Phoenix in this fight. I think that he definitely is a, fight shifter, even in the neutral sometimes, to at least clean up those kills. Here comes the flank, though, from Nectar with a dive of Crimzo.
I like this flank. He's kind of exposed right here, the back line. They're trying to deal with him. Ensign Inferno is going to be forced to be popped, but already the connection is even better for the Thieves. 3 kills already connected. Diving into the back line, trying to shut down Terra, but you're just so deep, so alone here for Nectar. And the Sentinels couldn't even hold the line for a few seconds to get him that time to pop the flank. They just immediately attacked, going directly at the Vanguard line from the Sentinels, and it just crumbled.
Yeah, and this is scary because, I mean, Bucky does really well against Captain America. I think Phoenix does solid versus Cap, but Bucky specifically destroys him. Also, this Phoenix, I don't know how much it's really going to be able to do on this defense now. I mean, they're going to need to play aggressive. They're able to get the Lena pop Supernova here, but I think this is the ideal comp for 100 Thieves to deal with this the Sky comp from the Torch in third phase.
Yeah, Avery has had a couple big fights, but in general, think about how his performance has been across the series. It's been hard to keep up here with the amount of pressure being placed on him in the draft. Sentinel's going to pop a Freedom Rush from the Cap, and so far these rushes haven't gotten the most impact. Copy is deployed. Loki got to commit that, so they're trying to do what they can. Nuck with the copy as well, the Cloak and Dagger, trying to double down into this Renko. Let's see what he copied. Is he going to counter deploy ultimates here? And is going to be invisible boundary. Enemy Loki being focus fired in the back line, but so much defensive utility there.
Meanwhile, straight on the front line, right? Huge commitment by the team. That Meteor M only able to get one. Also, a Phoenix all committed by Nectar, so they're trying to bring it back. I mean, Techie's able to get one. You still have Groot on cart, though, Jake, and with how much damage Groot does, you've talked about in the past, to this day and age more than ever, this character can be absolutely dominant. Now 100 Thieves keep moving. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. They're going to portal. Also, switch ups, too. It's Avery, the one to switch over to that Doctor Strange. They're going to triple Vanguard now, Jake, on the defense.
Yeah, immediately trying to repress this defense, right? Trying to reset and retake position. They've done it, Avery, on the Strange take. It's looked good, that portal blocking some of the way, forcing 100 Thieves down this tight choke. 100 Thieves, though, still healthy. Vinny with the big strangling prison. Are the shields good enough here? Stabilizing for the moment. The Ensign Inferno comes crashing down on their heads and absolutely wipes the floor with the Sentinels. Still, I think the Sentinels maybe going to be all right taking that kind of a team wipe, given that it was a huge 3 ultimate combo from the Thieves. That being said, Sentinels, they don't have an easy way back into this. It's going to need a hero. Someone's going to have to pop off and find some kind of an opener to just get them out of the spawn here.
And they're walking out, but it's into Terra, who has been dominant this map so far. Also, the Cap kind of dives towards that back line, but it's never a full commit, right? Just kind of harassing, buzzing, as Avast likes to call it in his transatlantic voice, but Crimzo just kind of dodging around alongside with Sentinels, building a pole.
Terra has a lot of space here on the flank. He's in deep. A lot of these Sentinels players are low, but they successfully fall back for the moment. Defending Phoenix, maybe looking to get some counterplay. Renko rips the Cloak and Dagger all on the point. The heals, though, aren't good enough to keep Techie alive. Eye of Agamotto and the beautiful burst follow-up. TTK with 2. Counter kills so far not good enough, but Crimson with the Freedom Rush on top of the Cloak and Dagger ult seems to have been enough. Thieves, they just didn't have the strategist ultimates to sustain through that. And this attack, as good as it's looked at moments, seems to be sputtering here. It's going to be maybe that one last attempt for the Thieves. Not a ton of ultimates to work with, but maybe the Ensign Inferno and the Strangling Prison will be enough. Sentinels has to hold strong against that combo one last time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could see something out of Techie. Could be crazy with the potential eat with his shift, or maybe popping out that Meteor M. Meanwhile, Crimson also over to Angela. So they're really trying to display Spinny, make sure he can't set this up as they walk into this choke. But they're already kind of making it through here with some poke damage on the side. Sentinels also building up strat ults against Harvey, who doesn't have the Eternal Bond just yet, but surely will build it in the middle of the fight.
Techies look so good on this map, and pulling one player in, Crimzo there onto the Phoenix, actually pulled Vinny out of position, and he wasn't able to get up the Strangling Prison. So Angela actually finding huge value in this fight. A nice connection, though, onto the Flying Torch by Terra. Maybe keeps this one in contest. Aramori drops the invisible boundary on the point, but the Cloak and Dagger ultimate is stabilizing for the Thieves. Crimson finds another, so hold on, Angela. Showing some real impact here in this fight. Big Phoenix ult over the top from Nectar. So far, not able to find too much. Vinny's coming back into this fight. If 100 Thieves can keep this one rolling, they could very well overwhelm Sentinels, maybe overplaying it, trying to close that fight a little bit too quickly. Crimson got shut down, and now the Thieves back to full strength, and with a couple powerful ultimates to boot, the Sentinels running out of gas. Renko needs to be a real hero right now with the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, still only at 95%.
I mean, he yeeted that Groot ultimate, the strangely present towards the back. Everybody gets connected by Eye of Agamotto. They do have the Eternal Bond, but even in it, still lose too.
Oh, big pull from Angela, trying to attack Terra on this Phoenix. He gets low, but the strategists keep him up for the moment. Cloak and Dagger ultimate is keeping the Sentinels players alive, but the burst damage is just too good. The focus fire from the Thieves overwhelming. Their own Cloak and Dagger ult over the top, and it looks like they will be able to get this one over the line, securing the full cap on Symbiotic Surface. And that's a nice finish here to bring this map into a very winnable position for the Thieves. Make a defense at any point here, and you're going to be equalizing the series.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but Angela hasn't gotten a single ult, I think, in this entire series, if I'm mistaken.
She did one, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it does, and they were on Rapco, and because it just didn't seem to do anything. I was like, I don't understand, but
it puts everybody in like a volleyball pole, like it chains them all together and sort of roots them in, and then
like
also
a tether ball.
Yep, like a tether ball, and then you get bonus health off of it, and if your teammates fight it, they get healed. But yeah, it's just like it's tough to really get value out of it, I think. But you called it. I mean, a huge attack, putting Terra over to that Phoenix, by the way, nearly 20k damage in one attack. I think that change-up's really been the biggest thing. Also putting Delena over to that Bucky. It seems like they're really good at playing these front-to-back style comps.
Yeah, Delena back on some more comfortable picks here. I think has looked really solid. I also feel like Avery has struggled now with a proper, top tier meta hit scan pick, putting the pressure on him. Especially we talked about the Loki, not really the most consistent strategist at healing the Human Torch up in the sky. So 100 Thieves, I feel like they've gotten the better comp here, going back to a very classic style that's extremely comfortable for them. TTK has been great on the Strange, Vinny as well with some big prisons, to get those big team fight combos going. On the Sentinel side, though, I did feel like Techie was a hero on the Magneto, man. So many picks from the Magneto, and I feel like you don't always see that from Magnetos, but those burst picks really do add a lot, especially in stifling those attackers. If they lose a player or two, and the attack can fall apart. So Techie this time on the Strange, but I wonder if he's going to swap back to that Magneto, since they do have the mismatch if they want it.
Could see Sentinels, meanwhile, do started out playing triple, right? Going back towards that Adam Warlock, slowing it down, letting Avery get pocketed. That's kind of the playstyle they want. They need Avery to kind of hard carry them. In this case, 100 Thieves, do get to play that Wolverine, but it is against, yet again, Invisible Woman. Walking out both greens forced on both sides by either Loki.
Yeah, great shield management from Techie. He's starting to put the pressure on. He knows how many strategists are standing behind him. This is really allowing the Strange to be the hero of the story. But a big kidnap, though, by Delena takes Adam Warlock out of the fight. See if he can Kuhnrez his back into it. He will, and looks like Crimson has already found a counter kill, so Delena just couldn't do any more in that fight, but needs to get something else. Shuts down the Adam Warlock. Again, there won't be a second cocoon to get back into. The Sentinels, meanwhile, find a tick, but this is a fully torqued Wolverine now, starting to be really effective. You can see Avery doesn't want any of that smoke, doesn't want to fight him in those small rooms. Terra finding pickoffs as well, but the Sentinels, they aren't out of this yet. The triple strategist still holding the line, and Techie still fighting it out on point.
And they have to come back with that Eternal Bond and live with Invisible Boundary. Also, Groot Ultimate Trailing Prison. You can get eliminations through it potentially, and they do.
Yeah, big connection. Also pulling that Loki away. The Wolverine really getting a lot done. Delena still has the second life, or just they haven't been able to put that counter pressure on the Wolverine. I think that's potentially a weakness of this triple strategist setup, is you don't have as much control or damage to punish Wolverine when he goes in with his cooldowns. You're not. I mean, maybe you're able to pull somebody back with the invisible boundary, or rather with the force physics. But at the same time, you're not actually killing the Wolverine. You're not even taking his first life away, which is a statement about his survivability in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to deal with them. I mean, like you said, they have to try to get a little bit more priority towards Delena. Make sure he doesn't get these pulls at the very least. As long as you're, having Invisible Woman mark him, it's great. But, I mean, even going down into your own invisible boundary is rough.
Supernova, but he dives right into the Eye of Agamotto, and the follow-up damage is there. Avery shut down. Nectar, does he want to pop the mass res? Maybe double down into this fight. Terra on the case, immediately takes him out. But the res is good enough, maybe keeping them alive. The End Song Inferno, though, the natural counter to the skill, just farming kills is Terra on this Phoenix. And it's like you said, Dustin, I wonder, maybe you gotta let the torch through, but I feel like you can't give Terra this Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, let them play Torch. I think that, you know, we've seen 100 Thieves play that character, and just in terms of win rate over the course of their entire, you know, team's existence, I just don't think that's one of the better comps. But right now, with Phoenix and Terra on Phoenix, I mean, yeah, this is one of their best comps, so it's tough to deal with. And we might go to a tied-up series if Sentinels don't figure it out. They're going to the thing. They're playing Wolverine. That's the counter they think. Maybe going with the tosses onto Nectar.
I don't think that was really the toss they were looking for, right? He just didn't quite cross the angle. Maybe Nectar can find something, but the ultimate advantage here seems to be a little bit favored for the Thieves. Vinny has been great with these strangling prisons. Can he get a lockdown? Catch. Ooh. So far, nothing. And Delana has already found Techie. There's no res to get him back into this game, but Renko with the copy. Maybe this is enough to continue to snowball this forward. I guess a copied Thing ult, trying to just aggro deep into the backline. Nectar already finds one. Ensign Inferno, some damage here, but it's not actually finding the kill. Sentinels, they lose one more, but Aramori popping the Cloak and Dagger ultimate on point gives Sentinels a great base from which to fight. Now Aramori in a bit of trouble. Focus fire, Delana and Terra comboing together, but Avery, the stun connection onto another Ensong Inferno, cleans up, and at least the Sentinels are gonna potentially have another lease on life, another chance to get this cart rolling. No. And the strange touch just too late.
Yeah, just a little bit too late there. And I was going to say, I feel like Delano was actually playing that Wolverine pretty well, right? I mean, we saw the counter kidnap come through from Nectar. He was trying to stop him from, you know, coming back in. That's kind of the counter play to Wolverine, is that on the other Wolverine obviously sees you coming with the kidnap, you try to grab him back, but he countered it by just, you know, committing his ultimate, making him CC immune. So that was huge out of him with the last stand, and now 100 Thieves in the second phase regardless. Sentinels off the back of an end song from Avery continue on this cart, but 2 minutes off the clock. Can they keep it moving forward? And Jake, like you said, these throws are not the best right now.
Yeah, he's got to work on his pitching arm here on the Thing, and not looking too good. Crimzo already fell. The kidnap comes in on the strange, but I don't know if he's pulled him in. But even up there, the ultimate though, double down follow up, and Techie covering the play with the Meteor M. Avery finds another connection, and despite an early death by Crimzo, Sentinels capitalize on the aggression, getting a bit of value out of this. 100 Thieves coming back into this with the copy Cloak and Dagger ultimate, allowing them to hold the point for now. Sentinels elect to just back off, delay through that C&D ultimate. They're willing to take these trades.
I mean, they got nothing for defense on 100 Thieves side except Grains for Avery's Ensong Inferno, and with that, Harvey goes down.
And I mean, the Wolverine looks great here from Nectar, especially combo with Techie, right? I think Magneto is such a potent combo with the Wolverine, giving him that bubble at a crucial moment, right when the enemy thinks they're going to be able to turn on him, they're going to be able to CC him or kill him out. You're getting that bubble, and it's really making the difference for now. 100 Thieves, a little bit desperate on this retake, have to come out through a very scary choke point with the Thing with Wolverine, looking to flank, looking to make that plays. Bubble comes in on the Wolverine, Thing coming in as well, and the attack onto the flank Terra. Not able to really get into this one on the Phoenix. Avery is just dominating.
Yeah, I mean, Avery's just been able to roam free on the height. I mean, you come in with the Ensong Inferno after you're down 2. I mean, how do they turn this with the last stand? You can combo it, Ayabagamotto as well, but no eliminations. And with the peel coming through, Sentinels, I mean, they have everybody here.
Yeah, so much focus fire. Beautiful positioning from the Loki and the Phoenix. They're just sitting on this high ground, pumping damage, ready to just wait out ultimates, not in a huge rush to clean this one up. But Avery strikes the opportunity, right? Steps on the gas. They only have 2 minutes to cap this one out, but we could very well be going to an overtime round. The Sentinels seems to have found the adjustments that look good for them now. Thieves onto the Thing themselves. They want to potentially CC and deal with this Wolverine, but man, Techie and Nectar together are really taking over this game. I feel like Techie already had a big game on Magneto, and then now he's able to bubble the Wolverine and make plays off of these initiations. It's only looked even stronger.
For sure. I think the counterplay is to maybe swap to Bucky for 100 Thieves side, which they're trying to run through and just deal with this Thing and Mag player like you said. But right now, the space has been created for Avery yet again.
Ensong Inferno doing some damage onto the point. The follow-up is good there. Crimzo, Nectar both find kills. And 100 Thieves, they're in trouble now. You're getting to that desperation scenario. You need to die on the cart if you're going to die at all. Can't lose more players here with the cart rolling forward. 100 Thieves, they want to have one solid touch. At least you need to get the clock a little bit lower here. We're running into a scenario where Sentinels actually could be in a hugely dominant time make advantage if they could just snowball this through. 100 Thieves, though, do have ultimates to delay this one out. This one could go very deep into the overtime.
Yeah, stun's thrown on the back at the very least, but like you said, this could be a lengthy fight for 100 Thieves. They started out with Nuck in his whole Techie looking for that Meteor Ram, but it's blocked by shields. Nice job from the strange player from TTK.
Yeah, just no connections available to him. The burst comes in, this time onto Avery, but Aramori finds a counter kill, so both teams without one duel. This just should favor the defenders. Also running a little light for the Sentinels. They're forced to use their last resource in the Cloak and Dagger. Big strange ultimate, Ensong Inferno comes in. Cloak and Dagger, though, protects everybody. Beautiful play from Aramori, keeps the team alive, but the ultimates, they're running dry. The Sentinels, they need to find something in these next few moments. The clock is running low. Delana does have that ultimate. Gonna rip it, getting those execution thresholds on. Can he find a reset? Can he get down Nectar? It seems like not today. And now it's down to that death match, man. Both teams fighting this out without ultis, but I think Sentinels are the better in the long fight here. They're willing to take these trades. One pull comes in, but no real connection.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to connect onto the thing, but, you know, the thing doesn't get pulled in. He gets stunned for just a moment, and right now, like you said, Sentinel's building a bolster, comboing potentially with Avery soon alongside that last stand. Again, that's been brutal for 100 Thieves to deal with. Can they find anything with their own Unsung Inferno and Vinny?
Yes, they can, it seems. Okay, the Thieves comboing well, able to shut down the enemy thing, and the strategist ultimate is just not enough to keep the Sentinels alive. The focus fire is good. This has been a calling card for the Thieves. They're so solid at being able to find these burst kills when it just looks impossible, and the strategist ultimates seem overwhelming. They just have that great team play focus fire. A Desperation Strange portal from Crimzo keeps the game alive for the moment. You need something ridiculous here to make a clutch coming out. Maybe they're able to find it. Hold on. One kill from Nectar, maybe more. Diving into the backline with the ultimate, the last stand from Wolverine. 2 kills. The Thieves, they thought they had this one in the bag, but the Sentinels on the verge of forcing an overtime round here. They refuse to go out. A big ultimate now from Crimzo, who's built up that Doctor Strange connection. Cloak and Dagger ultimate is on the ground, but it's running low, and Techie now started to get into the action. The Thieves players, the spawn's so long here, and somehow, some way, a Desperation Strange portal TP ends up turning into a one fight. The Thieves, they must be kicking themselves. They must have been convinced they had won that map.
That's a brutal way to end for them, as we've, you know, been through an exhausting map for 100 Thieves. I don't know. I mean, Sentinels, they come through with that portal like you mentioned, and then they just have that combo between Unsung Inferno and Last Stand, or I guess you just have Wolverine pop off like he did. So,
gentlemen, I got one question. Can you see the draw? That's all.
That's true. I mean,
oh God.
You know, like, I feel like a draw definitely could happen here. However, I could also easily see a team finding that first tick, right? We saw the Sentinels in some fights forced to back off. However, I do think you got to think this is a really strong first point defense map in general, positionally. And I feel like last time the Sentinels kind of gave up that defense, Avery got picked off, going over aggressive. I don't think he's going to make that mistake again. Now he's on the Phoenix. He's going to be playing a much more conventional, you know, slower, consistent style. And with 1 minute on the clock, the Thieves, they got to really think about how they want to approach this. You're not going to have time to make adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, Crimzo setting up the counter portal play. Maybe somebody's not thinking on 100 Thieves side. That's the pray, the hope and the prayer from Crimzo. Off the map, he's setting up one of his portals. In the second one, he'll toss out as soon as TTK pops out his own portal, right? So
I kind of like this for like an overtime gambit, right? Like just to, you know that's what the Thieves did last time. They went for immediate opening portal. And, you know, this is the moment after an exhausting overtime where you might just slip up.
Immediately?
Just trying to block the door. Okay. Just trying to gamble, maybe.
Well, he was trying to get somebody there, like, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it would make sense because you don't see Doctor Strange anymore, so you would think that the counter portal has to come through. Or no, yeah, they're just going to walk out anyway with their own portal. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Crimso's in the spawn right now. Crimzo swapped off the Strange, so he's going to be flanking on the thing. I don't know if the Thieves are going to be ready for this. The Sentinels seem much more prepared for this setup this time around.
Oh, no.
Immediate kidnap. Oh, what a ridiculous pull there. Just absolutely taking Doctor Strange to task. He's unable to even get into the fight. And now Avery steps on the gas here, swinging around on this flank under the off angle. Maybe a little bit scared, though. Doesn't want to get caught by the Wolverine. The counter pressure goes on to him. Avery, I think, wise to back off that angle. But the 100 Thieves right there down. They're separated away from their Strange. Oh, a connection would be so painful. You can't die here. Nuck is down. One more, maybe looking for further connections. Avery did what damage he could, but the Sentinels smell blood in the water. They're surging forward over the top of these Thieves players. You don't want to give up a tick here. You need to be able to hold this point out. Hold it solid, Terra. Unsung Inferno. Can he find anything? Cloak and Dagger, though, the connection from Aramori just protects the team. A great save to deal with that ultimate. The strategist is doing so well. The focus fire is amazing onto the Wolverine, but it's not enough. Now the copy comes out from Renko, and this should be overwhelming. It's a desperation OT, and you just can't touch into the overwhelming presence of the Sentinels.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you called it. The strategists popping off. Also, the damage reduction from the thing, and ZP, you better have not jinxed it, man. It's looking like it could happen.
Well, look, we got two options here. Either Sentinels wins this in 4, or we get ourselves a draw, and it could go to 6. That's where
I feel like Sentinels, the momentum is so strong for them right now. I feel like they're feeling themselves. The way they played that last fight was really solid. you know, your strange portal TP Gambit didn't work, and you just immediately had the great reactions, immediately still played well around. I mean, they didn't have really Crimzo in that first fight. He was coming in off the flank, right? Had just switched off of Doctor Strange in the spawn. But it's a beautiful connection from Nectar, who, by the way, looks great on the Wolverine. So many kidnaps, an insane clutch play in the overtime on that attack to win out third point. Wolverine back in the driver's seat, man. Such an impact hero. Has kind of always been, right? For quite a while in Rivals, has been this crazy impact hero. Just offers something completely unique, I would say, on the duelist role.
Yeah, and you called it. I think Mag synergizes too well with him, and the fact that went through in the ban phase onto 100 Thieves definitely has impacted the outcome. As Sentinels, definitely 100%. They look like the better Wolverine team. As we have 10 seconds left to go. You know, potential cheese plays by the defense from 100 Thieves. I mean, they have TTK on Doctor Strange, who's been playing well on that hero, but losing him first in that last fight to that grab and absolutely changed the dynamic of the series.
See how the Sentinels take this offense, though. They don't have much time to work with, right? No room for mistakes. So if Terra can just take a couple heads, that could be securing here. The draw for the Thieves, extending the series. That's what they have to hope for at this point.
The setup from Sentinels is just going to go through right main, right? This team just kind of playing incredibly around Crimzo, taking damage reduction when they possibly need it, also giving the rocket jump pack to their Wolverine to find these picks. There's also no Invisible Woman, so they should be a pretty free Wolverine unless he connects onto maybe a thing or somebody else.
Yeah, maybe you're going to throw him in, see if we can get that kidnap. Big connection straight to the backline. Delana, though, getting the strategist heal. He's not going down just yet. And it's actually, it seems like Wolverine maybe struggling in that fight. The strategist help forces the second life onto Wolverine. The opener does not find blood here. 4 Sentinels as they were hoping for. Now can Avery be the man of action in a crucial moment? You're trying to push forward, trying to break this setup. The blind from Cloak and Dagger. A big kidnap once again onto the Strange. Tove pulled deep into the back line. The Loki clone not quite on time there to save with the Immortality rune. And now the Sentinels smell the opportunity to end this series, to evict 100 Thieves from the night shift, and the Sentinels are going to be going to your money match, winning 3-1 in a ridiculous comeback. Sentinels, they're going with the classic Hulk plus Namor team up. The Gamma Monstro could be pretty good, though. Envy doesn't have a great way to clear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, by the way, that Kalush had decided to rebrand back to Cucumber. So he's bringing back out an old username. And yeah, it is interesting to put Cal in instead of Tap, right? That's always going to be discussion, I imagine, behind the scenes. We saw Cal said Envy, ride or die, and sticking with the roster through and through right now is Envy as he's starting today. And they already get rid of Techie in the Hulk form.
Focused, just absolutely bursted down there. And Hulk already in Bruce Banner form. See if Envy want to continue to press this advantage. Kalush confidently standing on point. Cucumber here, excuse me, on the Magneto. I'm going to try and use his new name for this series. Chokeslam onto the cap, but he's still healthy. And now this Jeff flank is really starting to pay dividends. Speedily putting damage in as well on the Star-Lord on the flank. 3 picks for Speedily. A 4th. He's absolutely cleaning house. A bunch of final blows. I mean, all team-assisted kills. But, man, that is a beatdown on Fight 1, Map 1.
Yeah, it's been a beatdown. If you're going to want to use Cucumber's username, you got to use Speedery instead and R8 New Roach. So if we want to commit, we got to go Crimzo 2 as well. You know, or just go across the board.
I draw the line at Speedery. I draw the line.
No, he said he wants it. He specifically does it to piss us off and also makes it a point that
that's why I draw the line, because I have pride. I have pride. I'll stand on something. I'll stand on business.
Speedery's mom's going to be very upset at you after this broadcast.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Envy. Continue to push the tempo. Speedily, very fast ultimate here. Galactic Legend. The strategist ultimates aren't quite available for the Sentinels. I wonder if Envy want to rip this early.
Definitely could. I mean, now they do. Yeah, off the rip, straight into the back line, straight into the few. Oh, Avery already gets melted.
Yeah, and losing, you know, your Human Torture is really going to limit your damage output. And 1 caught out Airmori just a little bit out of the dance floor. And Sentinels already lost 2 despite the dance floor being on top of them there. And I mean, this Envy team is making mincemeat of the Sentinels. The Sentinels, they fought so hard in that last series. They clutched out so many times. And I mean, there's a couple fights that are really disheartening for Sentinels fans right now, whereas Envy looking as good as ever.
Yeah, I mean, they have the opportunity, I guess, to try some triple strategist compositions. Wouldn't be that bad, but yeah, they will be lacking the Mantis because of those bans earlier on. They're definitely committing heavy to that Torch, but you're seeing exactly why. Maybe that's not the best, because off the rip, Cucumber with a pick off on Avery.
I mean, the mechanics on these strategists are so solid from Envy. They're doing a ton of damage in their own right, and now it's just a full retreat from the Sentinels trying to get back into their own spawn. That's the best they can do. getting spawn camped here on map 1. And I mean, this is a message sent and a message received from this for the Sentinels here. Techie trying to get in touch, but yeah, he's just being focus fired. Speedily has the mobility. You can't outrun this Star-Lord. Supernova now pop from the Human Torch, but no one's gonna be able to touch the point. And Dustin, is that the most brutal round you've ever seen on Domination? That's about as bad as it gets for the Sentinel.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of talking about it. I mean, it's like, I don't want to bring up the good old Avenged meme, the, you know, coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb type situation.
This is dangerously close. Dangerously close.
I mean, they have to play triple now, it looks like, but at this point, we're already not playing the Mantis. We already know. The thing is, Jake, why this comp works so well with triple strategist, if people are wondering at home, it's because, I mean, every character in this comp does good damage, right? That's the thing, is that this Jeff doesn't even... Look, the Jeff had more damage than healing,
Jeff is
right?
second damage only... Honestly, if they had given the Jeff the Luna Snowflake, I'm just saying, I think Jeff could be top damaging. I feel like this is a Luna Snowflake gap, and Nero might be top damaging on a pure,
dude,
honorable DPS standard.
How fast is Jeff spitting out that water, dude? It's like as fast as a fire hydrant or something. It's like it's got to be. It's doing so much damage the second in the lobby. That's crazy. Let's see if we can get some
Jeff cam in this game. I kind of want to see how he's making this work. I think this will be something that a lot of the fans at home kind of want to check out and just see how they make Jeff work, especially with Cap flanking. Sentinels, though, kind of just running it back, not overreacting here. Maybe just saying, all right, you know what? It's a bad opening round. We can play better. Techie moving up to the flank, instantly focus fired though. Man, Hulk struggling, instant pop of the ultimate. The Monster Hulk already down, but Window is attacking the backline as well.
Yeah, it is interesting too that they're forced to roll swap Crimzo over to the Emma Frost and Techie off of his classic Crimzo. Oh my, hold on, Techie. A little bit of a 1-2 punch in the sky, brings speedily down to earth.
That's a big kill. Cap gonna pop the ultimate from Window, but Envy aren't really grouped up to take too much advantage of it. On the point, the chokeslam is good, almost able to first down Cap, forcing Cal now to pop that Mantis ultimate. Human Torch sees a vulnerable Luna Snow, but that crucial freeze from Month saves him and also allows Speedily to come back up the spawn, turn the kill, and Envy right back into the fight. Even after losing a couple players, they still get the clutch out.
Man, I mean, that ultimate's so strong, but yeah, that freeze from Month, I mean, if he didn't hit that, that fight could have been potentially over. Sentinel's entire, you know, kind of game plan relies on Avery able to find picks on the backline. And, you know, when Month gets a freeze like that, it's hard to really get much done. 12% of the board. And, Jake, that felt like the best fight for Sentinels to win. Now they do have Whale, and they do have Dance Floor, so they can maintain this. But the pressure from Envy and, like you said with Jeff, has been too much.
It's hard for Techie to play this without the Monstro Hulk, right? Because the backline from the Sentinels can't quite get in to support these dives. Envy is way too quick harassing. Look at Cap, like already in there, forcing them more. And does he have the save? Okay, is going to be able to get protected here by some ultimates. Big Jeffy, hold on. Is this the whole team? Oh my God. Okay, no, Nero just got boated. Tragedy for Nero. That looked like a huge Jeff ult. They just immediately smoked him.
It could have been, but the only way I think they get elimination there, by the way, Avery gets onto Cal. They're trying to turn it back down a lot of players, though, so they have to commit that Supernova. But everybody's kept healthy because of Hulk. Techie changed his playstyle for that fight specifically. Play with a team, bubbles everybody so that Jeff Hulk comes in. You can't eat anybody because they're CC immune. Once they have that Hulk bubble on, it blocks all that damage. And then, obviously, insult to injury, a whale is bigger than a tiny shark, so gets smoked on by that Namor.
Yeah, you know, I feel like Jeffs always go for these hugely ambitious ultimates, but the focus fire is so good at this level of play. It's so hard to actually get your way to the edge of the map successfully. It just feels like you can't quite get those big follow-up bursts you're looking for. And now Sentinels have the point position, right? This is the situation they wanted to create. Namor with that flanking Monstro spawn, putting a ton of spam damage on the players walking in, but already forced off the high ground, not optimal here. So Envy, the flankers, creating a ton of space, a ton of pressure. Window oversteps the mark, though, and Nectar just shuts him down on the board. Now retaking high ground. Gamma Monstro committed. Invisible Boundary as well. I think this high ground is, I don't know if you can hold this against the Gamma Monstro. More players now pouring in from the Sentinels away from the Invisible Boundary, pushing Envy back off of the point, back through the choke. And Sentinels are right back into this series, man. It was a brutal map 1, but they're shirking it off and now evening the score line here on round 2.
Yeah, they're changing the pace. I mean, you can't get overwhelmed, which it's tough to say how to not get overwhelmed by a flanking Captain America and Jeff 24/7 behind you. But Window in that fight, right, hard focused, came back through, was Nectar, and now in this upcoming fight, they do have some ults to work with. We'll see how Sentinels want to play this. I mean, realistically, they send in Techie, go aggressive, push off Cal, but immediately Nectar forced to use the shift.
It's like pretty much a full kite for now. Kaluj over the top here. Cucumber with the Meteor M would love to find a big connection. Avery tries to get active into the backline. That team up, keeping him alive in a challenging fight, but speedily has the final answer, and there doesn't seem to be much left for the Sentinels. Running out of steam in this fight. Dance Floor comes out as well from Envy, just securing the situation. Techie getting a bit of delay here on the Hulk. It's going to be knocked into that Bruce Banner form, but while he's knocked, the flip goes through. Avery dies after as well. So Sentinels are going to be on that potentially final retake. Still expensive fight for Envy. I mean, and having the Jeff ult, if you only had one ult, you probably pick just about any other ult in the game over the Jeff ult.
Hey man, it heals you now. You know, that's huge. But also, yeah, I mean, Sentinels and how Techie's playing it, right? He just understands play as a unit, right? Save my bubble for when that Jeff kind of comes in, or at least use it early so that I can have it later on. Nero probably sees that bubble get used. Does he want to go for that ult? Doesn't look like it. They're just going to set up a lot of damage. But right now, Sentinels breaking out of that choke point. They're able to look towards backline at the moment and find Cal.
Yeah, and I like this, just ignoring the Jeff cap, right? Moving forward into that vulnerable Mantis. The more super low, just barely gets saved by the strategist. Crucial. Avery finds another in the fight. So the Sentinels verging on a map victory here. Round victory, I should say. Equalizing here potentially on our first map. And Envy struggling. They're onto a desperation straight HTP for Cal. Can he get back into this? But maybe he can, but still so many players available. The Jeff Eat doesn't seem to be too impactful just yet. See if the Namor Whale gets a connection. Cal finds one, so okay, that's a connection. Hulk is also super low HP. The spit off the map, not quite enough. Invisible Woman plays way out of it, but hold on, the Jeff mobility, you can't kill that. And how the distraction from Nero is starting to really work. Hold on. Torch, where'd you go? Oh no, it's getting scary. Envy, there's no way they're snatching this one back. Surely not.
Wait, but Techie got an elimination in Bruce Banner form, so that kind of is insane. Now they're able to come back, force Cal off the site. I mean, he was one of the healers of Envy's roster. They're lacking all of the healing now besides this Jeff, but at the moment, I mean, in the sky, Speedery, I mean, he's just popping off with the ult.
The dance floor, big though. That's going to keep them in the fight. Meteor M, maybe the only way we can find a connection. Desperation from Cucumber, tries to throw it straight up, but Human Torch jukes away. Techie now with the Monstro Hulk. Cal looking to get back in with a strange of his own, and the dance floor for Envy. Maybe the final answer here. Sentinels running low on the skills. The dance floor is lasting a long time. This is a slightly nerfed ultimate, but it may just be enough with the Freedom Rush as well. Envy still so stable in the HP department. Big connection from Cal. The ultimate is enough to burst down Avery. Jeff ult providing that healing on point as well. Little extra utility actually seems meaningful in this fight, and a couple players, strategists in particular, pulled out of the fight, and Nero sends them packing, man. Spit straight into that death barrier. Sentinels, great attempt on round 2, but it's not enough. Envy takes map 1.
Yeah, I mean, Envy on this current setup do have that Star-Lord alongside Jeff and Mantis. And the problem is, even if you don't have to deal with a Jeff flank, we saw Envy, Jake. I mean, they just kind of 3-2-1 together, especially now that they have Groot and no Wolverine on the opposite side. They're just going to be able to kind of like snowball in, bulldozer over Sentinel's defense, theoretically.
Yeah, we're going to see how Sentinels can get this hold speedily straight to the backline, get the Magneto bubble here from Cucumber. Strategists protecting each other for now, but Nero's able to take this top angle, and oh, that's a beautiful wall placed by Window. Avery strikes back onto Cal, so it's an even 1-for-1 trade. But the attackers in point position, starting to get this cap rolling. Sentinels have to respond and do it quickly. You don't have much time. Envy, they prove to be the team with stronger poke, but Avery finds another crucial pick. Still, it's a bloodbath, though. Both teams dropping bodies.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Rank goes down, but guess what? Nero's still on the point. We do have a TP from Aramori, but it's going to be without healing at the current moment because she was on one of the other strats. And right now, they're just going to clean up. It's just literally a math game, Jake. Like, would you rather trade 1-for-1 backline against the team who has 3 strategists or the team that has 2, right? You're just kind of you're trading numbers, and at the moment, Envy always have a healer, whereas Sentinels will eventually run out faster.
And it's always so hard to play that trade game against, in particular, I think, characters like Jeff, right? That you just are constantly flanking, constantly annoying people. You're such a strong character in a trading scenario because you're always in, or often at least, in a very, very aggressive position, ready to keep fighting, ready to keep deathballing. And I mean, Jeff is just such a tricky hero in a low numbers engagement. I feel like Jeff might be one of the better characters in the game with his ridiculous, natural mobility.
Yeah, 100%. That character, I mean, he works as a dive hero and a healer at the same time. And now, oh my, what a stasis to slow down Speedery.
Beautiful catch there, and it takes away the ultimate, so he lost half the charge there. Techie, what's he going to be able to do in this fight? And that, maybe that counter initiation there from Techie is enough to get Avery a kill, enough to stabilize Sentinels for the moment. Groot ult from Window thrown down here. They are able to burst Avery through the strategist ultimate, but Cucumber's very far from this fight, isn't really going to be able to do much. Crimzo does drop the Psionic Seduction, trying to pull in this group, trying to continue the fight. But Envy have a lot of ultimates to fall back on. This isn't necessarily an easy team to push into. Speedily pops the ultimate again, this time forces the boundary out of Aramori, chokeslam onto the group, and Avery finds more, man. Okay, Human Torch starting to really get active here. Pressuring the Jeff out is big, but the dance floor charging forward for Envy. They're calling the bluff of the Sentinels. They know they're running low on strategist ultimates, but they need to find kills before this dance floor ends, and Supernova is going to be a big problem.
I was going to say, in this Streets phase of the map, this should be Human Torch, or second phase of the map, this should be the strongest phase for Human Torch. Constantly able to play in that verticality on the height, you know, just play and cover at all times, alongside go for set dives. In one-shots way easier, you can pick and choose, as, you know, Envy, they're the ones that have to take that space first. And even if that Jeff is on your flank, he's going to be a little bit farther away just because of how the map is positioned. You're way more in the open, having to push up together. And especially since it looks like Nero's playstyle, he wants to support Speedery, giving him those speed boosts to go in with those blaster barrages. Usually it's not enough at the current moment, as Envy setting up those dives is going to be a little bit more challenging, as they've again set up one on the far flank. Right now Sentinels see that, rotate over to the graveside instead.
Still, but this is an awkward spot for Sentinels, right? They're kind of caught in the corner. They've given up a lot of map control to Envy, who are pressuring them, flanking them from all sides. However, Nectar does strike first, and on to Speedily, no less. That's kind of the carry of this setup for Envy, and without speed, I just think they're going to be lacking damage. Sentinels finding purchase in the series, really stabilizing here on second point, making a lot of value, especially off this Human Torch, right? You talked about the big explosive dives that come in, but I think Namor might be a bit of an unsung hero, right? Marking some of the flanks and, you know, even finding a counter pick onto Speedily. That's probably the biggest kill you can find in this comp, right? Since you are relying on speed to do a ton of damage and, you know, make use of the Snowflake from Luna Snow, really get a lot of value there.
Well, I think right now the Sentinels rotations have been very proactive, right? They gave up a lot of one side of the map, but that graveyard is actually pretty lengthy. However, now in this fight in the open phase, not able to counteract with the invisible boundary from Aramori, not able to save one. And here comes the Jeffy.
So he found something, but it instantly bowed, man. We've seen this in the Namor Whale. Beautiful counter there to the Jeff ult. So it's turning into a bloodbath. Sentinels staggering back into this. And the Freedom Rush, there's not many better ultimates than that to kind of close out one of these scrappy fights. Techie doing what he can with the Monstro Hulk, but expires, and eventually so too will the Sentinels defense. And this card stoppage position is interesting. I think there will be like that one last chance for Sentinels. I wonder if they're going to need to use a Strange CP to get into the fight.
Man, and there's no, at least on the opposite side, there's no more Groot. So the walls you don't have to really worry about. It's going to be more so coming out of the choke, like you said, dealing with that Meteor M. You got to save Renko, cooldowns from Techie to make sure you can live from that Meteor M, or maybe bubble it from Aramori. That's going to be the biggest worry at the moment for Sentinels.
And Dance Floor forced out very, very early here from the Sentinels. So Envy holding on a much deeper into the fight with their ultimates, and they also already find Crimzo. Despite the Dance Floor being online, Supernova gets popped, but Dance Floor should be plenty for Envy to stabilize through this speedily. Trying to get in, look for what picks he can. Jeff does fall in the chaos, but Kalu just finds two, and the Legendary just overwhelms Sentinels. Defense cleaned up, and Envy, great initiation in that fight, forced the strategist ultimates, and they have all of the answers to finish this one off.
Portal coming through way too late, unfortunately, for the side of Sentinels. Now that cooldown actually going to get removed. It's kind of hard on third phase anyways to retouch with Portal because of where the spawns are located. It's very easy to stop them. But yeah, I think if we go back even 2 fights ago, Sentinels would have loved to win in that Streets phase when we saw Aramori get or Renko getting eliminated with that Lunasto dance floor. Maybe they would have wanted to fight there inside that ultimate. Nero obviously taking the entirety of that whale into that Jeff ultimate. And right now, I mean, they're just keeping this pace up, Jake. It seems like Envy just want to keep this cart rolling.
Yeah, the rate of play is just ferocious right now. Sentinels aren't able to mount any kind of a defense here on this third point just yet. Crimzo struggling, just desperately trying to stay alive, getting all the peel from the strategist. Okay, the Hulk bubble should surely be enough, but it only just allows him to retreat back to the spawn. This is not proactive whatsoever. Finally, though, in this third choke point, there's not much of an opportunity to flank. Nero gets marked, maybe in trouble, but oh man, Jeff with that bailout from Cap. And the dance floor from Rashad, the Mantis ultimate coming in for the aggressive push. Envy giving no slowdown here, but Sentinels still find a pick in the chaos.
Well, here comes the whale just on the Nero's face. He ate everybody, but it doesn't matter how many you eat when a whale decides that he's gonna eat you, man. It's like a, you know, in this case, Jeff is turned into plankton, right? He's the diet of the whale of Namor. So Namor's ultimate eating well tonight, and right now Envy 1 minute on the clock. Sentinels found some stabilization. However, this third phase, Jake, I mean, we'll see what this torch does once this sort of area, this first point moves around. I think the torch should get some better value, but right now Envy actually, you know, kind of in the back foot. They're going to need to counter this Supernova with the Meteor M, and Speedery could go off yet again with that Guardian's ult, or with the the Galactic Legend and just pops it early to force out ults.
Yeah, makes a bit of space, just forces Crimzo to use the Psionic Seduction. He's still getting a bit of value of it, but I think Sentinels don't have much of an intent of holding outside of this choke point, right? They want to funnel the flankers into one position. Now, Jeff and Speedily come in on the wide angle. What can they get done here? Can they maybe pressure down this Namor in the back line? Just forces an ult for now, so Dance Floor's out from both squads. Both teams looking for the burst through. It's Avery who finds it. Oh, and he just barely dances down low enough, but he's so far from his team. Where's the support? It's not here. Avery's there with the cleanup. Techie pops the Monstro Hulk, and Envy now onto the Strange retake, but Techie's really just running rampant here on the Monstro Hulk. Trying to chase down a Jeff, though, can be a pretty tough task at times.
It can. I mean, he's going to be able to touch maybe with 5 seconds left to go, or Cal comes with the portal, so they're going with the thing. He distracts them for a moment. Now they have a side angle Jeff. They're actually building ultimates, Jake. If they can build this Capel in the middle of this fight, or the Jeff, or Speeder result, they can definitely come back here.
Now we'll see. One kill already found. Techie's been great on the Hulk in this map. Has really adapted the flanks. And
Cal?
no, Dr.
Cal?
Strange kicked off the map. See ya, buddy. Crimzo with another. The environmental kills are coming through the thing with the celebratory dash around the cart. And a Jeff ult to stall, but it's not to be. Sentinels make the hold on third point. Still a lot of win conditions for Envy.
It's so brutal. I think that might be the most brutal KO in the game if you see a whale come down onto a Jeff ult now. It's funny.
Such a nice counter. Like, he's clearly thinking of that. Like, he's clearly just ready for the Jeff ults. Because, I mean, honestly, how much mileage are you really going to get throwing the whale out randomly and kind of hoping for the best against this high mobility triple strategist comp? Using it to just always like a free kill on the Jeff when he ults, right? Honestly, I kind of like this strategy, and it's meaning that you're not really able to use the Jeff ult in this game.
Yeah. And I think you can also see, ZP, you could touch on it as well, why I think Sentinels love to play these like environmental kills, because like you called out, I mean, Emma roundhouse kicks seem to close out the game for Sentinels there.
Yeah, what's it called? Let me ask you, are you asking for my opinion here, or are you just
well, I mean, like, what do you think about environment? What do you think about environmental kills in this game in general, right? Like, I feel like they're hard to pull off compared to maybe other hero shooters, but when they do, they hit hard.
I think it's something where it's easy to kind of not always have it in the back of your head, but if you're actually going out of your way to exploit them, they can be incredibly impactful. And I think when you think about your Vanguard players, right? Players like Crimzo strike me as being incredibly cerebral. I think, you know, Crimzo's entire career within hero shooters has really been defined by a lot of game intelligence as opposed to necessarily being the absolute best aiming. So when you get in the maps like we just had here, where Crimzo's like, oh, we have a bridge with multiple ways of getting people into the pit, Crimzo's probably going to find a way to get people into the pit. It's kind of his thing.
Spawn harassment, pretty brutal here from Envy, doing a great job pressuring the Sentinels, but they still get the TP off, and now they take a bit of point position, so Envy having to race back. They find themselves in an awkward spot. We're in the attacker position, which is not where you want to be on Central Park. Map flip looks good. Cucumber already down to the Sentinels, making a statement here on the Central Park first point, really pressuring the cap, and who's going to stop this? Kaluj coming back on the Strange. Maybe they'll be able to TP back into this. Cal finds a kill, though, so hold on. Envy, maybe with another chance to make this hold, speedily finds another, and great start from the Sentinels, but they aren't able to clean it up.
Yeah, the sustain is just far too much, right? Even if you lose Cal in that fight, we talked about it, you still got Month and Nero. You've just, if anything, evened the odds, because Aramori and Renko are going to be matching on the opposite side. So even though, like, yeah, the strategists aren't as strong necessarily in terms of just raw healing output, I mean, you can still live alongside Month and Nero even without Cal.
Yeah, and Sentinels, see what they do this time. No more Strange Portal, right? So they're going to go back to the Hulk, play the conventional attacks. Still, they have 2 ticks to work with, right? So Envy really just can't give up any more point pressure, right? They have to take every fight straight up. Speedily going to go actually aggressive even through the choke, pushing deep onto the Sentinel. Sentinels have ults, but they really want to hold off on them. And great job by the Vanguard, just staying alive in that room. Now the repush can come in, and they still have the invisible boundary.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like these starting off fights with the duelist ultimates. And right now, I mean, Sentinels able to fight off this attack from Envy. I mean, Speedray going down early is huge.
Yeah, maybe it'll be enough. Now Sentinels starting to push forward, taking some position on the point. The boat not quite available. Oh, if you eat the Namor, he can't whale you. And there we go.
That's a good point, man. You can't actually counter the Jeff ult if you get into the Jeff ult. So that's a good play by Envy right now. 2 minutes left on the clock for Sentinels, as for us on our side, it was hard to watch it because of, that Jeff, delaying our stream on the back end. But for Envy's roster right now, 2 minutes on the clock is a good spot to be in, even though you don't have any ults left to fight with.
Envy is just so fearless on this offense, just charging forward into the attacker spawn. This is just wanton aggression. Envy continuing to push the pace with a dance floor. However, you know, Sentinels weather the storm, and now the repush is going to be scary. Speedily in trouble, getting body blocked in the door as well, but the support is good. Strategists keep him alive. Bubble force out of Hulk. Sentinels, can they get onto the point? They need to get that invisible boundary down in a key location. Envy just have that freedom rush to work with. That could be pretty powerful. Hulk zones away the strategist for the moment and getting a lot of value in this back room. You do not want to tangle with the Hulk in a small room.
Oh my goodness, they tried to come back. There was a little bit of help. It looked like Window was like, I'm going to come back and save you guys. Oh, never mind. I'm giving up on it. Whale, though, on the backside. Ayabagamoto to counter. They get Nero, sure. And actually, speedily going to pop the ultimate. 1 versus basically 4.
No chance on that one, man. And Techie, huge plays on the Hulk, man. We talked about this guy a little bit in the last series, how important he is to the success of the Sentinels. And the Hulk, I think, is one of those Vanguards that a lot of Vanguard players just aren't that confident on, right? I think this is one of those very unique Vanguards that you need some really intelligent positioning and skill usage on. He can be pretty easy to get focus fired down. Techie's execution, though, has been rock solid, and I think a huge part of their success here on Central Park.
And right now, Sentinel is trying to take full advantage of this second phase of the map that we saw on defense. Now, you still have to claim that space in which Envy, with that space that they currently are given, just kind of walk at, yet again, Sentinels. You talked about it on offense, or rather on first point, Jake. They're just kind of keeping this pace up, forcing Sentinels to regroup. But right now, they're coming back in with that dance floor with the Fate of the Worlds.
Yeah, and they should be able to get something here, but Envy's kiting out really nicely. The triple strategist just evasive, too hard to catch, and Sentinels aren't able to really punish the dive at all. So Envy are going to be pretty happy about how that one went. Psionic Seduction now, popped by Crimzo. Once again, it's like the moment where the Sentinels need to catch and find kills, and the choke slam may be enough to do just that. Shuts down Cucumber. A kill already came in onto Cal from Aaron Mori there. And so Envy's struggling a bit with the triple strategist on the defense. The harassment, the dives, you know, they've looked okay, but they just haven't been producing results. Now Sentinels have free reign on the map. They can take whatever position they want. Envy have to retake into this. They have the dance floor, pretty potent tool in this spot. However, Supernova already popped, forcing that to be a very, very early dance floor. And Aaron Mori does have that invisible boundary, comes out a bit later.
Yeah, right now you have on the inside, you hit with the Eye of Agamotto and everybody gets connected on, but it's only their invisible boundary that actually goes down because of it. Now the Jeff ult onto the last remaining strat player goes down. That's not going to be any help now for Sentinels.
Jukes the whale too before heading off the map. Nice heads up movement from Nero. Saw that counterplay coming. And somehow they're able to burst Aaron Mori through that invisible boundary. So despite the buff, right, Invisible Woman still has that weakness. If you just get hard bursted in the boundary, it goes away and your team is caught flat-footed in a spot where they thought they'd be safe.
And I thought for Envy, you know, the toughest part so far is they've not been able to play hard around Speedery like they were on attack, I think, for a few points. Nowadays, though, with Speedery going in with that damage boost, able to get, like you said, those eliminations with that Invisible Woman enables them a lot more. Now they have ultimates ready to go too. Sentinels, their biggest the strength right now is having Crimzo and Emma Frost. I think he's done so much. If they can keep peeling with Techie and Crimzo, they can maybe live this upcoming fight because there's so many ults on Envy's side.
It's an absolute swarm here in the front line. Renko pops the dance floor speedily now, biding his time, waiting for his moment.
He's trapped.
Oh my God, did he just get trapped in this room?
He trapped himself.
No
He trapped
way.
himself. Are you kidding?
He has to break out. He can't. This is so bad. It's taking him so long. Okay, but still, Window finds the kill despite it. That's hilarious.
I think that was there was like a bug as well. If you like somehow can TP somebody into that point or whatever on first objective before the phase gets unlocked, you can't break the map in the second phase. So there's some weird stuff. Probably should be giving people tips on bugs, but regardless, Envy starting off this fight now. Spirit goes in the sky.
And now ripping that ultimate, you might have the Psionic Seduction, but the pull out of the air from Techie is brutal. Speedily shut down. It looked like a backbreaking moment for Envy, but now Sentinels back in the driver's seat. A choke slam comes in, the burst kill onto Kaluj. And finally, Sentinels have found the opportunity to get towards that third phase of the map. Envy, do they have a strange portal? They have some mobile players maybe to get in for a last second touch. Nero, it's a duel as old as time, the shark versus the whale.
I mean, whales should win, right? Theoretically.
Really, I think Sharks would. Who knows? I guess we're about to find out here on this match of Rivals Night Shift. Big Whale could be dropped soon. Nero looking for the eat. Dumped right on his head. Whale wins again. Sentinels, though, lost 2 players, and the cap ult could just be outvaluing. You're just out of resources on the Sentinels. The Hulk ult is not going to be enough. I mean, Techie's going to use it as late as possible, get the maximum delay, but Envy is just in full control, and even the Hulk ult just isn't that tanky in a 1v5 scenario.
Well, they still got Portal Arm. He's going to TP back. I mean, they could do it.
Well, he's living. He's living.
He's living. He's going to be changing form, not touching the cart during that. Now he's down. Can the Portal make it in time? It does. Sentinels is here.
But it's an awkward fight, and Cal very close to that copy ultimate. They do find one pick off. Let's see what the copy is.
And the dance
coming in
here
from Cal. Dancer is good from the Sentinels, keeping them in this fight. That insane stall from Techie, absurd. It kept them alive, and now the Sentinels back at full strength speedily. Has another Galactic Legend. When the Strategist ultimate runs out, he's gonna pop it. Here it comes. Can he find the kills? Avery's already found one, gets shut down as well, but speedily over the top. There's no answers left for the Galactic Legend. He's aimbotting them down. They're all falling. And it seems like the Sentinel's just out of gas. Such an impressive hold, man. Really extending into the OT.
Sentinels versus Envy. Sentinels on the verge of elimination. Envy looking strong, trying to get the sweep. Will they be able to do it? It's here on Midtown, and it's Dogman and Jake.
All right, Envy out of the gate strong here. Running a Storm comp with Speedily. We talked about his comfort on the Flyers. The damage amp gonna be incredibly potent. I mean, this comp from Envy Sports, a monstrous amount of damage. So maybe ready to deal with the 3-3 setup from the Sentinels. Actually, I see the vision here, man. Like, I'm not sure you have enough tankiness to deal with Storm Moon Knight Groot. I mean, that's devastating.
And the biggest thing is we removed Emma Mag, and these are two Vanguards that do a lot of damage. Now, on the opposite side, you have Crimzo and the Venom, going for Cap Venom dives. You think that's too much? And Jake, oh my goodness, we're seeing it finally. The talk could come to fruition.
I actually think this is a great moment to bring out the magic because, for the Sentinels, the question is, does this 3-3 setup actually have the staying power to tolerate some of the damage buffs that we've seen on these duelists? And it looks like, yeah, okay, Techie just committed to dying on the card. I actually like to see this from teams running the 3-3. You need to get these 3 fights in on first point. It's super important. They get a mass res as well out of Renko. And the execution actually pretty nice right now from Sentinels on the 3-3 setup, showing that they do understand. Oh, pause comes in for the month.
That's an interesting pause. I'm almost of the opinion that you should pause after fights, to be honest with you. That's kind of crazy to pause in the middle. I don't know about you, Jake, but, we are giving the agency to the players because it's better than none, I suppose.
Okay, you say that, but what if you pause in the middle? Dogman, what if you pause in the middle of the fight and then also pause to BM the team? Because we've seen a little bit of that this week across the entire spectrum of games. It's been an interesting topic.
I mean, yeah. I feel like Envy already lost this fight. The Cloak and Dagger ult's on the ground, but the trades are not looking good for them. The Adam Warlock got a lot of value here out of the Sentinels, getting their whole team back into the fight.
Well, Jake, right now, you got to think about it this way. We're in like the Sherlock Holmes, kind of like, okay, I'm down and out in this fight, but how do we come back here if you're Envy then? Because it is going to be tough, but you're given, Batman times of time to prepare, right? You can set up, you can beat whoever you want to as long as you can think of a strategy. So what would your strategy be as Envy right now, Jake? Can you set up a one-shot somehow for Envy here against Sentinels who have so much to stall and delay?
I mean, you have to hit some kind of hugely impactful ultimate from Doctor Strange, but I'm not really seeing it because what are you going to full burst the Venom down? Maybe that's your best hope, but it seems unlikely as the unpause comes in here. Immediate rip of the Doctor Strange ult. Maybe just trying to catch some players off guard. But the Sentinels backline is so far away, right? All 3 of the strategists are such long range. Finally, Envy gets on top of them and Cal pops the ultimate with magic. This has been massively buffed. The res comes in, but yeah, no chance for that one. And all right, Magic's starting to really put the work in on this point.
I mean, Magic is such a fun hero to watch. I think it's actually one of the heroes that has the most underrated fan base, honestly, because, so many people watch basically just Magic players in general. But right now, Envy switching up their comp. They're going to go back over to the Bucky and keep the Groot, right? This is the tough part for Sentinels is that I was surprised they didn't play the Groot, maybe, Jake. Maybe they assumed if they could switch to Wolverine, they wouldn't want to play it. Counterpole coming through now from Cucumber, by the way, on their attack.
I mean, it's an interesting version of the 3-3 because the Sentinels backline is quite long range, right? And quite passive, where the tank line wants to be really aggressive and forward. So they're hoping to just keep the pressure constantly off of their strategists, allow them to do a lot of damage and kind of replace those duelists. And so far, so good. I think Envy needs to ignore the front line and get deep into the backline, but they haven't been able to do that just yet.
And it's interesting because you're forcing Envy to play a different playstyle completely, right? They're having to play heavily around Cal, playing around this Storm, which now here comes the Hurricane on the high ground. And do they have a response on Sentinel side? It's just a cap ult. No, Crimzo goes down.
Storm into the backline though. Speedily wants to clutch this one out, and Card has rolled forward quite a bit. It seems like Envy starting to overwhelm here, getting the better of some of these deathmatch trades. And Speedily with the trainer, the Storm is absolutely pumping damage in this comp. Sentinels, Desperation TV, but Aramori had to get a little bit of a touch there to stall for the Strange ult, but yeah, it's just not gonna happen, man. And even a cap will pop for no value. The focus fire good from Envy.
Yeah, I mean, if he lives there, maybe, but yeah, they do have the Terror Cape to increase damage onto you. You even saw they tried Sentinels. They swapped Techie over to the thing, and they put over Nectar, because I keep forgetting R8 New Roach's Nectar over to that Doctor Strange to try to get a portal off faster, because you know the respawn timer was longer for Techie. In this case, didn't get it off though. Like you said, Crimzo getting bursted so well. Now into this next fight, Envy have solid ults to work with too against Sentinels.
And the card is starting to get rolling, right? So, I mean, often this first point is one of the tougher tests. Avery has gone back over to the Phoenix to have a little bit more of a balanced style as well, with the Wolverine coming out. Envy, though, not giving up any quarter, already finding one, and a big connection there over the top here from the Bucky. Getting some of these executions. Can they burst the dance floor down? Yes, they can. The focus fire is solid. Definitely a mark of these top teams, right? Is when they're able to just hard focus players, they're able to get those consistent kills through strategist ultimates.
I mean, oh god, Crimzo's over to Angela, by the way, now. And it's interesting because now they do have two characters that can sort of go for these picks, right? You have that Wolverine alongside Crimzo. You don't have everybody necessarily to throw the Wolverine in there, but at least, well, in Angela, you set up flanks, so you just kind of get this group out of position, maybe bring him to the Wolf. I see the idea.
Yeah, maybe more disruption is what the Doctor ordered. For now, though, Sentinels trying to get back into this fight. They rip the dance floor on Aramori. The stun comes in. Are you able to get connections? Oh, there it is. All right, New Roach. 2 kills on the Wolverine. Some big value, and the multiple disruption choices punish the group. Envy set back to the drawing board now. Gonna have to take a reset. And this is a bit of a slow comp on the walk-up, where the Sentinel style, I think they're much more willing to be aggro and play forward in these fights. And I mean, while the Angela has been hit or miss here, I feel like there's some potential on this character, right? Some of that Wolverine-esque disruption could be nice value.
For sure, and I think you don't get as out of position as you do on Thor, you know, having to commit your ability. But here comes the ultimate as well, and they're dueling in it pretty well. You can break it, and eventually they do, but the healing was there, and oh my goodness, actually massive value out of Angela, like you said, Jake. That was huge.
And I like the vision there from Envy, right, to put the Strange Portal to block like one of these doors and then just try and fight and cap the cart in the chaos. But Sentinels was really quick to respond, swinging around the outside and actually holding that position down. Now Envy, they won't have the Strange Portal, I believe, for this final fight. They're walking up into an entrenched Sentinels team, so Speedily has gone over to the Psylocke to maybe bring something different. But how do you get past the Wolverine, man? This is an area of very tight quarters where it's very easy to get grabbed and kidnapped. I feel like a lot of pressure is on Cal to find some kind of an opening hook, and that one just goes straight into the wall.
Yeah, at least on this case, they will be dealing now with Crimzo on Groot instead of on Angela, so the setups aren't there. And oh wow, Renko goes down early.
Yeah, a couple connections. Hold on, Envy, just find the picks, right? Rather than relying on perfect team play, you just find those individual openings. Aramori, though, gets a counter kill and rips the dance floor, which should be enough to stabilize the position for now. Nero has the Cloak and Dagger ultimate on the point, providing a nice base from which Envy can continue to fight. Execution is good. One connection, and now the copy dance floor from Renko. Can you find this burst through? This is a key moment to get an execution. Nothing just yet, and the Eye of Agamotto is good enough to burst down Cal even through the invisible boundary. Speedily, though, getting into the backline now, starting to get active on the Psylocke. Players are running low. Wolverine doesn't have the HP, doesn't have the last stand, and it's a desperation touch now from a couple of these last players from the Sentinels trying to keep this thing in contest, but Envy are going to get on to phase 3.
Yeah, and we get to see now, you know, get that Emma Frost come through on Envy's roster, right? Playing it alongside the Psylocke, and we already know how good Speedery is on that hero, which, by the way, they have Tap on the bench in this series, which is another really good Psylocke player. Right now, Envy gonna snowball into third phase. That's the tough part with Sentinels. If they were maybe in time with that dance floor to save Crimzo, they could have stayed in, especially since, you know, Groot does so much freaking damage. Now Envy on their attack. They're going to Angela on their own side alongside that triple without the Mantis and the Jeff again.
Yeah, let's see what Speedily can get done. Ooh, almost getting that burst from the side angle. You got to be so careful about this Psylocke. Even after the nerfs, a lot of burst damage. That reform in the building actually, I think, saved Crimzo's cap just there. But Envy's not backing down, continuing to put this pressure on. Butterfly dance into the backline. Oh, this is going to be huge. There's no strategist to protect them. The backline crumbling speedily. Massive plays on the Psylocke shows that this hero is far from out of the meta. And look at Angela here charging into the backline, pulling the Loki into the chaos. Oh, that's not where you want to be, son.
Dude, the Spear of Icarus is insane, dude. Assassin's charging in, able to get those picks. And now I guess if you think about it too, Angela's sort of like the same situation as Captain America where, you know, if the damage is good enough, this character can be so disruptive.
Yeah, and Angela could be a big problem. Oh, it pinned him into the corner. Oh, pulled him straight into the squad. Avery just barely got that Phoenix off. Gonna stabilize for just a second. And this time, it's the other team. Both team Psylocke's now finding kills.
Goes in.
Shut down for the moment. Big connection into the backline, but the freeze is good. Angela being turned, focus fire, the shield keeping her up for a moment, but it's not enough. Sentinels, the freedom rush on the point. Trading with the invisible boundary, but Aramori has the dance floor. And Envy onto this desperation touch, right? It's going to be maybe a strange portal to keep this overtime rolling. But Month has to stay alive in the invisible woman. Cap getting a little bit low. Hold on, Crimzo. Maybe overstep the line. Envy still have a fight in this one. Still have something to say about it. Pushing forward, you are walking in to that Techie ultimate, right? If he's able to find a big connection with Doctor Strange, that'll be lights out for this Envy offense.
Yeah, they definitely had to make a play. Cal gets a few in his E. Eye of Agamotto to slow it down on the opposite side. You do get the Phoenix, but she's going to be able to live with her shift, Jake. Still alive on the back, 1v1ing that Jeff, and the freeze from Aramori is huge.
Aramori comes in, cleans up the backline, finally dealt with that pesky Jeff with a bit of freezing action. Nero over the top of the Ultron ultimate, giving a lot of stability to this fight. Avery rips the ulti on point, but the front line from Sentinels finally holding strong here at the last checkpoint of the map. Envy, massive progress to show for this offense. Definitely a lot of moments where it felt like they could have been stopped earlier. And so the Sentinels have established a chance, but I mean, Envy, man, this is a strong team. I don't think they're going to give up any of these points easily. This is definitely, I would say, call this a coin flip, Dustin. I feel like this map is anybody's game.
Man, I would want a best out of 7 of the series now, honestly. You know, it's a shame that it is just going to be a first to 3 because it's such a fun game between both Sentinels and Envy, back and forth. In this case, Envy on this map, right? This is what I was talking to you about, Jake, and ZP as well. Like I was talking about the last map, you know, Central Park being a potential map pick for Sentinels. This is also one of their better maps in terms of win rate wise. It's always a map they do well on traditionally. For Envy and their roster, and for what we've seen out of Angela, that was interesting, that last play, I think specifically too, when we saw Window go aggressive with the ult. It's almost like that's a bit of a misplay, in my opinion, just because with the Heaven's Retribution, because you give your team overhealth, by the way, which another Vanguard that has basically is trying to just ult if you think about it. If he comes back, maybe keeps his team alive instead of going that aggressive where nobody was there to set up, they could have lived, but it's so early on, and I don't really fully blame him for thinking he can go in for those eliminations. But Angela's lethality definitely relies on her team heavily.
Yeah, curious to see how that continues to play out. I feel like from even what we've seen from Angela so far, I feel like there's definitely going to be some sort of strats people pull out with the Angela, right? Even if it's just like a cheeky way to find an opening pick, to pull somebody out of position and go for those early kidnap plays. I feel like those tend to be really nice, right? For these top level teams that are really experts at coordination. Envy now going with a 3-3 setup of their own, pretty similar to the style that Sentinels ran. Sentinels on the offense also valuing the Storm for maybe that extra damage to just dice through the attackers. Feel like Moon Knight should be pretty powerful in this scenario.
Yeah, and he's got changes too in the recent patch. It's just for his health, or his cooldown rather, of his right click, but you know, he's still been good in these comps for sure. However, Envy on their defense, they're playing Invisible Woman just in case on the opposite side. They do get to play against that Wolverine to counter it. So Envy, you know, let's see how they play it here. They're playing it slow, getting high charge for Cucumber for Kaluge, and with high charge, we've seen how much Kaluge could do.
The group combo is online. The Moon Knight ultimate ripped on top of it and getting absolutely everything. 2 big kills. Cucumber strikes back with a kill of his own. Cal still a ways away from the Adam Warlock ulti. So the Sentinels have a secured number advantage fighting this close to their spawn as well. Month is going to double down, commit everything, and get players. Oh, Month goes with the copied. I see the copied Adam Warlock to get those players back into the fight. They didn't have the Adam Warlock, but they had the Loki. But nonetheless, Sentinels over the top. Avery finds 3 with the tornado.
But guess what, Jake? Guess who's coming back unless he's hunted down by Sentinels who read it? Cal. Back in the fight. Cocoons is dead immediately, though. Nice chase down from their team from Sentinels.
Yeah, good awareness. I feel like these days the Adam Warlock, it's so difficult to get a big mass res, right? People are so aware of the threat that you pose. They're not letting you just walk away with that cocoon, right? They're absolutely gonna hunt you down, and it's a long cast animation for a strategist ultimate, right? There is a big vulnerability window. Nero back onto the Jeff, and Cucumber has found a big connection, shutting down Aramori. Eye of Agamotto is enormous, but it seems like those Loki, the runes have done enough, just barely keeping Window alive. That was so incredibly close. But the strategist support was just good enough, and now Groot back at full strength.
And it's interesting, it's Speedery, the one playing that mag, able to connect with the Meteor M. Now here comes a Groot ult on the opposite side. Wait, where was that Groot ult from Crimzo? Did it just connect onto the cart? Not connecting onto basically anybody? Now here comes a Jeff. It's Jeff on the back side. This time, no Namor whale to counter it, but it doesn't get anything. He's dead anyway, no!
Oh, Jeff. And I mean, Envy charged forward. Yeah, it's Kaluge, of course, on the Strange. And charging forward with that Doctor Strange ultimate, but not able to find a connection. But in the end, they're just happy to throw their lives away, knowing that they have that mass res behind.
Wait, yeah, just exactly. You're right. Speedery goes in, goes down. Born again from Cal, brings Speedery back into the fight. And Month is well with the copy, so he set up another one, by the way. So Window going down, just going to get brought back by Month. And both of these ultimates have been popped, bringing back 2 members of their team.
The double mass res is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've seen that before, right? Consistently a team looking to, copy the mass res and continue to fight out. But hold on, the Moon Knight ultimate over the top. Can't stay there, son. That Groot ultimate sets it up perfectly. Moon Knight knocks them down, and Envy still in the spawn. I think they do have a Strange portal, though, and maybe enough time to come out of this. Does Techie go with like a counter portal here? Can he block this one out?
Definitely can. They're blocking the choke, though, in the meantime. 2 meters, 1 meter go. We're into the second phase of the map. They've done it, Jake. And unfortunately, I guess for Envy, I mean, they just didn't get... Unfortunately, it wasn't really a mass res. It was a mini res in this case. One person at a time, which kind of worked out for Sentinels. They slowed down their pacing. And we already know Sentinels plays well at a very slow tempo.
Yeah, they like these extended ult trades, right? I think they feel really confident in that setup. Avery's going to go over to the Ultron, continue to play this heavy front-to-back style. A dive forward here on the Doctor Strange. Cucumber finds a nice connection, but Aramori's ready with the dance floor. Stabilizes the position for now. Nero looking for a nice big eat, maybe to mitigate some of these players, but... I've seen a couple of these ults go bad, so for this time he's like, look, guys, I'm not hungry anymore. I've lost my appetite.
I would lose my appetite too if I was getting hard focused like he is. And now here comes that Psylocke dance to the butterflies, but everybody groups together. Huge strategy committed by that team. It's a bit of a gamble, but it pans out because they get Speedery even though they trade all that damage.
Yeah, and the strategist able to just protect each other, right? Amp all the heals. Mass res comes out from Cal. It's just bringing Speedily back into the fight, but Envy just doesn't want to give up any ground at all. They're willing to pop some of these ultimates, willing to fight even this close to the Sentinel spawn. Some incredible aggression here. Sentinels falling back, losing a couple players here, maybe willing to just take the stabilization in their own spawn, because in the end, they've got a lot of clock to work with, and this is Envy throwing a lot of ultimates in. That being said, you need to break this spawn camp, and these kills are painful,
oh my
man.
gosh.
That late into the fight, that's a long reset here. Timer's starting to really run down.
Oh, I mean, this is something we've seen in other hero shooters, but not much in this game. You see spawn traps for sure, but in the second phase of this map, not on Midtown, not very common, but now they jump out again, and everybody's set up here on MB side with the flanks.
Yeah, the high ground door is nice. The burst coming in for Psylocke. She tries to get that instant finish, but it looks like for now, the Loki is able to stay alive, able to keep this position going. Envy doing what they can to keep challenging this one, but the board again, you just send players in, sack them, and let them come back into the fights. Do Sentinels have the punishers? They need to charge forward and punish these players on the res, and looks like Crimson's doing exactly that on the group, just running them through. Still, carts being stalled this whole time. Envy losing incredibly well. Like, the fight's going against them, but the clock down to 1 minute. I mean, this is not a great scenario for the offense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a spawn hole break there from Sentinels, but another portal for Envy. I mean, this is ridiculous, Jake. We're going to potentially see 3 fights. They're on the payload as well. Met by Aramori with the dance floor. She has to, otherwise she goes down there really quickly. Here's that It's Jeff towards the back, just going to keep his team alive, I guess, if he eats his own squad, or we're just using it to sort of live.
I think he just ate a
nice
Loki clone.
Okay.
And got killed by the real Loki. That is a tragedy for Jeff. I think that Jeff Bolt is just a bait, honestly, in this game. Envy down 1. They don't have a mass res rather to pop in this scenario. Both Doctor Stranges, though, looking to find these eyes of Agamotto. Could be key. Is there enough of a connection? 1 kill looks good for Envy, but it's traded right back, so the Sentinels are still very much into this fight. Ultimates dropping a little bit low, but Sentinels still healthy on their surviving players. Techie held onto that Eye of Agamotto a little bit deeper, but Cal finds a crucial, decisive kill there, potentially onto the cap. Does Speedily have the follow-up? No, Speedily actually shut down, and Sentinel's kind of bunkering in this corner. However, playing that passive look has given Cal a great position to get a high-impact mass res off. Cap trying to get what he can in the backline, but yeah, there's too many players here.
Yeah, and they're down there. Phoenix, he was the one bringing everybody back. Avery goes down, gets bursted in the sky, and we have nothing at this point. Sentinels, it could all be over here in the streets phase of the map. I mean, not even the portal's going to save him at this point. Crimzo will stall it out, but Envy, I mean, how many fights did they have there, Jake? They were just running at Sentinels like a horde of zombies. Job done. Envy win again.